Part 2.
Page 110. Chapter 15. Importance of attitude of forgiveness in honoring your higher self. When you forgive someone, you in fact do it for your own good. Others might not change due to your forgiveness, but you will be able to free yourself from the suffering and pain. People only change when they are ready to change. And change comes through realization. And it comes from within. Outside factors may or may not act as catalyst for the change. Even when people are punished, they might never change. Some might do, but it depends on their state of consciousness. To some people, it does not make any difference whether you forgive them or not. They have done something according to their state of consciousness, and that is the way they lived their lives. Most of people who have wronged against us might not be even aware of the fact that they have harmed us in any way, or even when they are aware, they might feel very justified the way they have dealt with that particular situation. Some people justify themselves saying that they have put the records straight by taking their revenge. There are many points of view as to why some people hurt others and feel good about their actions. Remember that those who want to forget or justify their wrongdoing, they would do so, whether or not you forgive them. Act of forgiveness brings peace to your being. When you forgive others, you are taking control of your life and you are giving them the message that you are not giving others power to control your life. Page 111. By act of forgiveness, you are showing that your resolve is far greater than any outside factors. It shows that you have strength to move forward in life under all odds. You have great resilience and you can overcome any obstruction and keep yourself centered in your higher self. Forgiveness opens many new doorways for your own growth. It can help you to enter into the dimensions of higher consciousness where you can experience much more soul freedom. In expanded states of consciousness, you can weave a bridge of light and love to connect to your soul self. Forgiveness can take you into ultimate state of being, where you will be able to realize that there is nothing to forgive anyway. You would develop an inner knowing that others are experiencing the way they have decided to link with light and explore their inner dimensions. That is the way they are. They are reacting to life in accordance to the state of their consciousness. At some level, we are also responsible for attracting these people in our lives. We have to learn to explore what makes us magnetic to the hurtful experiences in our lives. You are a being of energy and radiate vibrations of who you are and what you need to experience in your life arena. You need to go within and explore your own thoughts that leave you vulnerable to the negative experiences of life. It is not about blaming and rejecting yourself. It is about gentle exploration that you carry out with a loving heart to make yourself strong and learn to attract positive experiences. There are some natural laws that govern the evolution of our lives on all levels of our being, which are beyond anyone's understanding. But we all have a responsibility of our reactions and responses to what happens on the stage of our lives. Our attitude towards the various situations that happen in our lives predicts how we would evolve and grow with these experiences. There are no exemptions in life. We are all open to all kinds of events that can happen. Page 112. In Africa, there is saying, I am because you are. In fact, the reverse is also true. You are because I am. It means people in your life are reflections of your own values and beliefs. They are showing you who you are. If your aura did not radiate that energy, these peoples would not be in your life. You can only see those people in your life who have something to contribute to your life. Life is a learning curve, and people in our life gives us the opportunity to learn something about ourselves and about life. In this world of duality, we have decided to learn our necessary lessons by negative experiences. These negative experiences create blocks in our lives, and by overcoming these blocks, we realize our true potential. In fact, it is our belief system that we can only learn our life lessons through hardships, that we need these people in our lives that create negative scenarios in our lives. If you look deeply, these people who we blame for our hardships are in fact the driving force on our path of self-discovery. These are the gifts of nature to us. In fact, everyone in our life is with our own consent. But this consent is not in our conscious awareness, and that is why we blame them. It is not about justifying their wrongdoing, but it is about the realization that our life journey is about understanding why we create such a drama of negativity in our lives. If we learn new and higher values and beliefs, we can change the circumstances and our life experiences. We can attract positive and loving people in our lives. We can only do that by changing our attitude towards life. We have to let go of the belief that we can only grow through adversities. We have to connect to our soul self and find the wisdom so we can grow through experiencing love and joy. In fact, in the higher dimensions of universe, this is exactly what we do. We learn our life lessons by compassion and loving kindness towards each other. As we enter into the higher states of consciousness, we can explore this sacred idea. We can design our life events in a positive and empowering way and learn the necessary lessons. Page 113. It is essential to keep a sense of optimism. The attitude of optimism increases our ability immensely to rise above the obstacles of life. And it also provides us the awareness to do this without blaming the outside factors. It is not an unrealistic approach. Many people have done it, and so can you. From now onwards, learn to evaluate your responses towards the adversities of life and make most of the opportunities that come in the disguise of the traumatic events of life. Being pessimistic gives a negative view of life in general, and we cannot see the greater picture of life. It blocks our vision, and we cannot see the opportunities that our life circumstances bring to us. and we spend our lives holding grudges against others and suffer so much pain and hurt. We can only forgive when we are not attached to a certain outcome. Forgiveness becomes easy and workable when you do not expect anything in return from anyone. I mean, nothing at all. When you expect gratitude, respect, or recognition, and you do not get, that creates a feeling of hurt. You do not know how to deal with these feelings of hurt. You become angry and frustrated. This creates differences between people. It makes people distant and creates separation. It is a negative energy that harbors in your aura and can attract more negative experiences in your life. It would be much more beneficial to accept that it is one of the facts of life that people hurt others and do not appreciate the gift offered by others. By doing so, you are not making it right for others to hurt you. Instead, you are trying to see the world in its true nature and acknowledging the fact. When we forgive others and ourselves, we are demonstrating how much we are connected to our higher self. It is of immense importance to go beyond expectations. Whatever you do for anyone, dedicate it to the universe. Dedicate all your good deeds to the original source. It reflects that you have recognized that you are part of universe, and in same way, everyone is part of the universe. Page 114. If you develop an attitude that whatever you do for others, in fact you do it for yourself, it makes you feel good. It makes you feel fulfilled. It makes you happy. And whatever you get out of helping anyone is your gain. In fact, when we do something for others, it serves its purpose for us in that very instant. It is because when we want to do something for others, it is due to our own desire of wanting to do something for others. And that is why the issue can be given a closure then and there. When your approach to life widens, you come to recognize that whatever you do to help others helps you to realize your higher purpose. Whatever we do for others, it helps us to progress on our spiritual journey of self-realization. It helps you to explore who truly are. What is your true nature? It helps you to develop the attitude of loving kindness and compassion. It helps you to live your life performing wholesome karma. It helps you to give something back to the universe. And remember, whatever you do for others always comes back to you in some form or the other. If you help someone who needs your help, then universe will send you help when you need it in your life. It is quite obvious, if we look at life with our soul perspective, that we do not need anything in return from anyone. Leave it to the great cosmic forces, and you will be rewarded with what you deserve. So let go the attitude of expecting any returns in any shape or form when you help anyone. It is true for any relationship. So do not build the foundation of love on the basis of what you will get in return. If you do not base your happiness and well-being on expectations, you will be able to forgive anything and anyone. It is impossible to forgive others when we think they have let us down for whatever reason. We feel our loved ones have betrayed us. Do not stay in a relationship that is detrimental to your physical well-being. Forgiveness does not mean staying in a relationship that is destroying your emotional health. Forgiveness means letting go. Forget and get on with your life as best as you can. It does not mean to stay in a relationship that does not serve your higher purpose. Page 115. If you want to live your life with peace and calm, it is essential to forgive and forget. To forget is just as important as the act of forgiveness. If you cannot forget the hurt and pain, it means you are still bound to the person with a negative bond. It also means that you are still suffering and will keep on doing so until you forget what is causing you hurt and need to heal that pain in your life. In fact, every time you remember that hurt or pain, you revive that energy of pain and suffering in your inner worlds as well your outer world. You attract experiences of life that will bring same kind of pain and suffering in your now. Your aura remains dense and coarse. New pranic energy cannot enter into your life field. It also stops the flow of energy through many chakras. If you cannot let go and forget, it means you have not forgiven completely. Incomplete forgiveness has just as many intense negative consequences as no forgiveness. In fact, it may even be worse. It is because when you cannot forget something, but by living under the false impression that you have forgiven, you will hide the need to forgive totally, and it can stay with you for many lifetimes. You cannot connect to your deeper truth while you are holding on the dense vibrations of the holding grudges and resentment. You are soul, and the requirement for becoming aware of your soul essence is unconditional love. In the landscape of soul, you cannot carry the energy of unfinished issues. It is an excess baggage. You cannot take anything from the world of illusion into the landscape of your soul self. When we cannot let go completely, we carry that person's vibrations in our aura and we remain connected to that person with karmic ties. To put the records straight, you might have to take many incarnations to settle the accounts. The attitude of forgiveness demands that you go beyond me and mine. To let go completely and forgive without any reservations can only be done by building the bridges of light and love between you and rest of the universe. Page 116. To be able to do that, you have to learn to weave a bridge of light and love between your ego and soul self. It is your ego that forces you to have the attitude of me and mine. It is the personality that is hurt, and it does not want to let go without taking revenge. You have to learn to embrace that personality. Learn what it needs from you that you are not aware of. What is that you are not facing in your life that stops you to live your life with loving kindness? What is that you are suppressing in your life? Where is the root of low self-worth that makes you look for something valuable outside yourself? Why are you depending on others for your own happiness? Do you love to yourself? Why cannot you forgive yourself? What is missing in your life that you want others to give you so that you will be fulfilled? When you understand that, you do not forgive because it gives you a sense of superiority. You do not forgive because you are doing any favor to anyone else. It is not something that you do for others, but you do it because you have come to realize your true nature as soul is unconditional love. And you have come to a point in your life journey where you realize even to think that you are doing it for others is an illusion. Everything is right in its place. But until you come to this stage, you will keep going through the process. To develop a state of consciousness of forgiveness is a process and takes time. And during this journey, you would cross many stepping stones. It is a journey from blame to forgiveness. And to reach that stage, you have to do a lot of inner work. First, you are doing it for others because you are following a higher path. Then you move into the next higher state of consciousness. You are doing it for yourself so you can be free. Then you learn you are doing it for universe. And then eventually you come to the platform of your soul light and love and realize it was an illusion. And in fact, there has never been anything that needed your forgiveness. That is all in the great schemes of things. We are all here to learn our lessons so that we can discover our true belonging, and everyone is doing it the way one chooses to do so. Page 117. Remember, everything in our lives happens due to our own consent, either conscious or unconscious. It means there is never even a question of forgiving anyone else or yourself. You felt the pain because you happened to cross their paths or they crossed yours while following a different pathway. We are all students or scholars of life, following our own unique way. Everything is accepted in great scheme of things. What right we have even to think that the various different ways of experiencing life have to be forgiven? When you learn to live your life with open heart, this willingness to give space to all varied ways of life happens automatically, and you will even go beyond the question of forgiveness. But this only comes when we have crossed the threshold of our ego self, and we have learned to live our lives as our soul self. When you live your life as higher self, the game of illusion loses its hold on you. You are soul, and soul is not in any way affected by the game of illusion. It is only used as tool for the purpose of self-realization and God-realization. Why you need to punish yourself with incomplete forgiveness? Remember, when we cannot forget, we are in fact punishing ourselves. Do you feel guilty of some unwholesome act, and or you feel it is appropriate to punish yourself? You need to explore the energy that is in the center of the attitude of non-forgiveness or incomplete forgiveness. You are soul, and in soul you are free. To claim that soul freedom and experience it, your everyday life, you have to learn to forgive yourself and others totally and completely without any reservations. Want to be happy in your life? Relax and forgive. Learn to forgive by realizing that we are all unique and see the world with a specific perspective. Learn to celebrate the diversity of the universe. See the common thread of the universe that unites all in the heart of divine. Page 118. When you learn to forgive and move on, one day you will reach to a point of realization that in fact there is nothing to forgive, and you would become more intimate with your higher self. It happens because you begin to establish a deeper intimacy with your higher nature, and this imparts you with your soul love and light. Your soul love and light is the ocean of divine wisdom that runs the great scheme of things. It directs the flow of life force, which is an ocean of unconditional love, and it guarantees that nothing would ever happen to anyone that can truly cause any harm. You are soul, and soul is beyond and hurt and harm. Relationship between forgiveness and freedom. Remember that universe holds the ultimate decision as to how life unfolds. Universe has the power inherent in it to decide the so-called destiny. We have a freedom up to certain extent and can do whatever we want to do, but eventually, if we are making more negative karma that we would not be able to handle, the universe will throw us out of the field of action that is detrimental to us. It is very important to remember that on a very superficial level, it may seem that someone is doing us great harm, but in fact, the core truth of the existence is that universe does not give anyone power to destroy us or harm us in any way. On the same token, no one has been given the authority or power to change our lives for better either. People can act as catalysts or triggers. The seed of what happens in your life is within you, and at times it might need something to jog the memory or energy charge to kickstart the growth. But no one can truly interfere in anyone's life or impose one's values, whether negative or positive. It is imperative to forgive completely and let go of the pain and hurt from your heart. If you want to honor your higher self, do not hold on to the pain. Try to heal that pain and suffering by connecting your higher self. When you are able to cross the wilderness of your pain and hurt, you will be totally healed. Look at this way that you are learning something bigger in your life. Page 119. When someone gives you a hard time, consider it as an opportunity to open your heart with love. There are many thick protective layers of dense armors that we have weaved over the years to protect ourselves from the pain of life. Unkindness of others can push us beyond our limitedness, so it gives us opportunity to break through the dense armors so that it opens a window where love can enter into our heart. A broken heart enters into the vastness of our higher self, where it can receive soul light and love. It is so that it can expand into its own vastness. People who hurt us have a very unique and personal map of the reality of the world and experiencing life through their way that has made them insensitive to pain of others. Their hearts are yet closed and they have not made their connection with their higher self. To them, the world out there is a very deceitful and threatening place, and they have to make those kind of moves so others cannot hurt them. By doing so, they hurt others by being overcautious. In fact, they are living their lives totally under the guidance of the ego self. The energy of all the basic emotions that we experience throughout our lives is flowing like a river. It is the same elemental force that has created the lower worlds that we live in. The energy by itself cannot create any experience. It needs vehicles to manifest it on the stage of life. We all are the vehicles for the transfer and interaction of the various frequencies of the universal energy. We are carriers of the frequencies for supporting our lives as well as serving our higher purpose and playing our role in the great scheme of things. When we are kind and compassionate, we are being the vehicle for the flow of higher frequencies of universe energy. We transmit light and love in the lives of people around us. On the other hand, when we are behaving in a negative way and hurting others, we have become participant for the distribution of the poisonous energy of the dark forces. So when people have hurt us, they have joined hand with the forces of illusion without being conscious of this very fact. Page 120. When you look at your life experiences as point of view of your soul self, you would be able to understand the mechanics of the universal energy and laws of the world of illusion. By doing so, you would also be able to distinguish and separate your positive energy from the negative energy of others. We all justify why we are angry, hurt, and why we cannot forgive. It is at this point that you would be able to see life with interception and ask yourself the right question, that what is the purpose for holding on the pain and suffering? If you feel humiliated, ask why it is so important to be accepted, why their opinion is so important to you, why you have given the power to someone else that they can pull your strings and throw you out of your balance center. We keep the pain of unjust that has been done to us alive by constant refueling of the energy by saying or thinking, I cannot forget. The question is, why you want to remember it? Ask yourself, is it self-punishment in some form? Why is it necessary to be accepted and applauded by others? Ask yourself, what would happen if you forgive? will you not be much more happier? Why it is so important to hold grudges on the expense of your happiness? How this experience is creating blocks in your life. How it stops you from moving in more light and love. Are you not creating more negative incidents of same nature by holding on to the memory of that injustice? Remember that it creates low frequency vibrations in your aura, and so you would not be able to create events in life that would bring happiness and empowering experiences. Happiness and joy are the feelings that can only be magnetized by higher frequency energy in your aura. Dense vibrations cannot hold peace and harmony in your life. It needs a proper support system of your energy. So, even if you did create some happiness, you would not be able to maintain it in your life. Finer and subtle vibrations are needed to create happiness and love in your life. Negative attitudes create and support only negative and painful events in your life. Page 121. Happy and joyous experiences can only be created in any aspect when we learn to live as our higher self. More we are connected with our higher self, more happiness and joy we would have in your external life as well. Remember, outer life is the mirror of inner life. That is our energy vibrations. When we hold grudges and resentment and hold on to the pain, we would attract more of the same. People who are miserable and unhappy, they attract more of same in their lives. Happy-go-lucky are those who take life in their stride and are basically happy, so draw more of the same. If our aura holds more coarse vibrations of lower energy frequencies, we cannot hold on to the happiness for long. It slips away as there are not enough receptors of higher frequencies to hold the energy of consciousness of happiness and joy in our energy field. All thoughts and emotions create receptors, and these receptors seek fulfillment. And until we do not satisfy, these energy particles torment to haunt us to get what that part wants. Pride. When we cannot forgive others, it is usually due to pride. It is due to too much identification with our ego. Ego creates various personalities, and these personality selves fight their case very strongly and want to fight to the end. It is identification with our values and beliefs. We have too many expectations from the various relationships that we have with others, and we are not satisfied if these are not met. We want to fight for our rights and think it is wrong to let go. Ego wants to dictate the terms and conditions of any relationship. When we cannot forgive, we are very sure that other person is wrong and he or she does not have any right to hurt us like this. They have let us down. We feel hurt and the ego self retaliates and it wants to punish the other party. It is because ego has pride and makes you think that it is not right and so wants to lash out and take revenge. It wants the person who has caused us pain to admit that he is wrong and so has to pay back or should be punished, or it is one of the survival strategies. But there is a higher way of dealing with life issues that would safeguard our survival as well as serve our higher purpose. Page 122. It is vanity. It says, I am bigger and better than you. I am superior to you. How could you let me down and hurt me the way you did? It creates more separation in the world. Ego wants you to fight for your right. It relates to outside world with negative power. The ego power is negative and wants to rule and belittle others. It makes you criticize others. It makes you to look for faults in others. It wants to relate with others with a sense of superiority. Do not waste your time criticizing and judging others. It creates dense particle of energy in your aura and stops your entry into the landscape of pure light and love. When you learn to relate to life with love rather than judgment and fear, then you develop a bridge of light and love towards your eternal self. You can look at all the life experiences as the challenges you have set in your life as your soul self. It is so that you can remember and reconnect with your eternal self. As your higher self, you are part of the universal energy and you have chosen the experiences for a purpose. If you enter into the landscape of your soul light and love, you would see that you would have had those experiences with someone else in some way, if not with that specific person. It means the person is not important. It is essence of the experience that counts. Remember, it is our own state of consciousness that attracts certain specific experiences in our lives. It is because our energy needs that kind of experience. Think life as a roadways. It is wilderness that you would have planned to cross to reach out into the lands of your authentic self. The bumps along the road are the means to realize our true destiny. It is to refine our ways of relating to the world so we would be in tune with our higher self. It is so that by developing frequencies of our higher self, we can become one with our source self and the universe. Remember that all our life experiences hold the keys to our refinement for becoming beings of light and love. It is our eternal destiny to become unified with our original source. Page 123. Once you have realized that and have been able to use the energy that these circumstances have provided, you would wake up to a greater reality that there was nothing to be forgiven in the first place. When you reach the top of mountain where you could see the bigger and true picture, you would have no need to repeat those kind of experiences in your life. It is because you have crossed that threshold where those kind of energy interactions were causing you hurt and pain. It means you have been able to neutralize these energy vibrations that have been locked within the experiences of those emotions. In fact, The innate basic nature of those emotions has been created by our collective consciousness. The one bigger truth is that basic energy of these negative emotions is not our personal energy. It is very impersonal. It only becomes our personal issue when we identify with it and make it our own experience. It only happens when we add our part of response to the interaction and gives it form and it becomes manifested in our lives. When you have learned to see life from the perception point of soul self, you would let go that energy back to universe. Then only you can be totally free from it. It is true healing at soul level. There is another very important factor. It is that when you heal yourself, you have also healed in part the energy of illusion and negativity. And now, this negative energy has been transformed into a positive energy of love and light. This creates an environment where others can be healed, and also the world of illusion that we live in is also transformed to a higher frequency realm of light and love. This healing energy also becomes available to the collective consciousness. This can give healing energy to all others who are still suffering with pain, hurt. It creates heaven on earth. So by forgiving completely, you are not only serving your higher purpose in your own life, but you are serving in great plan of the universe to transform all. The reward that we receive by the attitude of forgiveness are tremendous. Page 124. Contemplate and reflect all the beliefs and values as the various strategies that you use for your survival in this world. Do not identify with any beliefs. Make a conscious decision to change the strategy that is causing pain and discomfort. Ask yourself that are your present values and beliefs giving you what you truly want? If not, change these. Forgiving yourself. There are many times in our lives when life catches us by surprise and we face tremendous difficulties and turmoil in our lives. Under these circumstances, we lose courage and confidence, and we begin to blame ourselves for not being able to foresee it and avoid it. We think we should have been more intelligent and clever to avoid these. We lose hope and feel very threatened and vulnerable. We think we are weak and not able to cope and are falling apart. We begin to focus on our faults and think we could have done this or that to avoid it. Give yourself some space and think it this way, that life is so unpredictable that there is no way you could have been aware of what is coming. And if you are not able to predict what is coming, how could you have done something about it? Life is like this. How could you have seen what is unforeseen? Sometimes we can only see something when it makes its appearance on the stage of our lives. Remember, most of things only go wrong where there is a weakness. That is, where some learning is necessary. Energy follows the path of least resistance. It is universal law of nature. If you would have been consciously aware and prepared, you would have taken the necessary steps and the situation would have not risen. The situation would have not blown you apart, and you would have sailed through the turbulent waters smoothly. You would have not felt the blow. It is said that hindsight is a wonderful thing. But remember, it only becomes obvious once we had that experience that has highlighted the situation. So, do not blame yourself. Forgive yourself and move on. This situation is a stopover to integrate the learning that you have to do. Page 125. Remember, when you are consciously aware of something, you are able to take steps to sort it out. There is one more important factor. It is that we are only given in life what we can overcome, whether we are consciously aware of our strength or not. If you were not capable of handling it, you as your soul self would not have created that drama in your life. Universal grace only brings us the situation that helps us to connect with our authentic self and universal love. It might be true that many times we are overwhelmed with life's trauma, but in our inner self, we have that what takes us to learn something positive from the experience and grow on many levels of our being. So, do not judge yourself and blame yourself. Instead, forgive yourself and focus to find out what it is that you can learn from the situation so you can move beyond the pain and heal your negative emotions that precipitated a negative situation in your life. When life puts us into a situation, it is an invitation to develop a quality of life that lies dormant within our inner vistas and is waiting to bloom. It is the pain of birth of our new, stronger self that is much more closer to our true, authentic self and the source. There would never be an event in our lives that would not bring a special gift of the universe. It is because universe operates with the law of unconditional love and grace. It is law of nature that brings opportunities in our life for bringing us closer to the forgotten soul self and the source. So, do not play blame game. Take control of your life and move into the horizon of love and claim the gift that gracious universe has brought in your life. For claiming the gift, you have to remove the wrapping and let go of it. Do not look at the ugliness of the packaging. Look for the beautiful gift that is inside the packaging. Page 126. Part 4. Chapter 16. How to deal with regrets as your higher self. Our lives are usually externally directed. We mostly live our lives directed by should and should not values and belief, and as such, many regrets become part of psyche. Some of the regrets come as an awareness while following the path of self-realization. When we have learned some lessons and look back, we begin to see our shortcomings and lack of wisdom, and few regrets are engineered. Remember, negative emotions of any kind are detrimental to our growth and well-being, and so it is necessary to resolve these negative emotions. It can be done by looking directly at these so we can keep the lessons and let go of the pain and suffering these negative emotions create. You can resolve the negative emotions created by regrets, and it can only be done operating in the present moment. We cannot go in the past and relive it as we want to, but we can change the negative energy that is stored in the memories of past by dissipating it, by bringing it into our soul light and love. For that, we have to make room for it in our hearts, in here and now. We can only transmute the dense vibrations by connecting to it with open heart, so we can embrace the fragmented parts of our being. As long we keep it out of our hearts, it will remain unapproachable. And unless and until we can access something, we cannot work on it. Higher purpose of our life is to become whole and complete again. We cannot leave parts of our being left unhealed. We have to raise the vibrations for healing our pain and suffering. Page 127. All unhealed, suppressed parts create dense vibrations in our energy fields, and these will disconnect us from our greater truth. We would not be able to enter into the landscape of our soul light and love. It creates a disharmony within all our energy fields. Disharmony creates pain and suffering. The regret is usually about something that you wish if only you could have done it differently. The truth is that you could not have done it differently because you did the best you could do at that time according to the state of consciousness. Try to understand that if you had that awareness and state of consciousness that you have now, you would have done it differently anyway, because it is you who is making that statement now. So, it is far sure that the openness and understanding of life that you have now has only happened after you have made a shift in the state of your consciousness and you have realized the fact that there is another way to approach the issue. It is very important to understand that you have made the shift after going through the experience. You have done some growing up in the wake of that experience that has enabled you to realize that your approach of dealing had room for improvement. And that is learning that you have done through that experiences. It means that the experience has served its purpose in your life. It has helped you to move into the higher state of consciousness. So go deeper and ask yourself, why are you dwelling in the painful aspect of the experience? What purpose is it serving in your life? What you think you are achieving by clinging to the pain that feeling of regret is creating? It is purposeless clinging to something that has already served its purpose. There is no use of thinking that wish I could have done it differently, because you have already learned to do it differently. I am sure you do not want to repeat the experience just for sake of doing it differently. Focus on the positive aspect of the negative emotion of regret. It has made you aware of the situation when your heart remained closed. Page 128. It gave you an opportunity to open your heart. It has created an expanded state of consciousness. An open heart is the doorway into the landscape of our soul light and love. It is our connection with our own divinity. An open heart increases your intimacy with your higher self. It raises your vibrations and helps you to calm your negative emotions. It creates an environment where you can balance your thinking. It creates high frequencies so that you tune your thoughts with your higher self. It helps you to let go of old values and beliefs. Remember, all the negative experiences have a positive center. It is only due to this negative experience that you have made a tremendous shift in the state of consciousness. It means it has made a great contribution in your life. So be grateful for the experience and move on. Journey of life is about moving in the direction of your soul, light and love. It is the way of realizing your higher purpose. If the same things that are supposed to help us to move forward are used in negative way, these would hold us back into the dark valleys of illusion. It is such a waste of the pain and suffering that you have gone through in some stage of your life journey. You have become aware of the great learning that has been available to you, and it is only because of that experience. It is time to let go of the negative and painful aspect of the experience. In fact, it is time to be grateful to your higher self and the universe for the experience. It is time to embrace the teaching into your conscious awareness with a positive note and say goodbye to that wavelength that made it necessary to go through that negative experience in your life. Remember, life is not pure mathematics. Life cannot be lived or understood by the calculations. Forget about keeping accounts of the incidences of life that have served their purpose. Life is like that if we keep accounts of all the things that happened to us and what we did, we will be overwhelmed and suffer endlessly. Not only that, our various energy fields will become filled with dead material, and there would be no room left to receive the new gifts of universe. Page 129. To receive the higher gifts of universe, we have to have the ability and room to receive these. Remember, universe cannot give us something that we are not capable of receiving. When you keep all old accounts open and operating, universe would only be able to give you what you're focusing on. It means you would only repeat same kind of experiences that you are focusing on. Want to change your life? Change your focus. Think positive and higher thoughts, so your higher self and universe can create happy and joyous experiences in your life. Learn to have a higher perspective on your regrets. Think it this way, that it is an opportunity to make you aware that you are already into a higher dimension of understanding. This holds a key to the doorway of new and higher experiences of life. It is like holding a diamond into your hands, but living a life of poverty. You already hold the treasure in your hands, so do not keep looking back and wishing your life away. Congratulate yourself that you have moved a step closer to your higher self. You are dwelling into the landscape of your own soul light and love. Use your intuition and imagination to attract new and higher experiences on stage of your life. Page 130. Chapter 17. How to deal with disappointments and discouragement as your higher self. We feel disappointed for many reasons, but the basic reason is not getting what we expect. It is a conditioned response that we have learned in our childhood. Although it seems instantaneous and automatic as we have no control over it, but there is a process behind it. Our learned responses comes through the filter that have been set up in our mind since our childhood according to our tendencies. In that sense, it is a chosen response to an external event that did not materialize according to our expectations. We want something, and for whatever reason we have failed to obtain the object of our desire. It is our own emotional response to take it as being let down by someone or something. If the degree of disappointment is too great, we feel hurt and pain and withdraw. The extent of withdrawal depends on our attitude because it is our attitude that decides to what degree we feel hurt. The withdrawal, in fact, is our inability to cope with the situation or the fear that we would not be able to cope with it. It is mostly in response to anticipated result of the situation that create pain and hurt. We become disoriented and confused, and the result is that we become discouraged and despondent. The challenge is to remain open and connected to our authentic self. Failures and betrayals are a way of life, and no one is exempted from it. Life, like nature, goes through many seasons. Pain and hurt is inevitable because life moves through cycles. Page 131. We are beings of energy, and energy moves in cycles. Nothing ever stays static. Life flows in flux of movement, always entering into a higher dimensions that would bring us much closer to our authentic being and the source. We are all very unique beings in our own rights, and at which moment the major or minor turning point would become part of our journey, no one knows. That means most of the changes are unpredictable, although sometimes we have clues given by the universe. But most of the times we are so occupied with the current game of life that we are almost blind to the coming tide of challenge. Sometimes the challenges of the new tide of life takes us by surprise, that we are totally knocked down and lose our heart. Our vision becomes blurred and we lose sense of any identity we ever had. It is because we were not anticipating the crisis and we were not the least prepared for the major catastrophe that was waiting for us round the corner. That is the way life is. We have to keep our mind and heart open as much as we can. It is very important to remember that it is always some unresolved issue that comes up to the surface so that we can deal with it. It could be any arena of life, such as job, business, relationship, health, or number of other issues that carry some message for us. Disappointments are an essential part of life, but how we respond to these is a choice that we make and have control over it. Although when something happens, we feel discouragement and somehow justify it as well in our conversation with others, as if that is our destiny and so it is something out of our control as well. But if you go within and think with calm mind, you may not have a choice in whatever has suddenly become part of your landscape, but you definitely have a choice in the way you handle that situation. What you do with the traumatic situation depends very much on how intimately you are connected with your essence self. More intimate you are with your higher self, easier it would be to keep your calm. Page 132. If you look back in your life, instead of thinking you had a rough deal in life, think you have always survived the traumatic events and you are even much more stronger for that. So most likely you will be able to sail through the storm this time as well. Traumas and problems, or in other words, the challenges of life are recurrent in nature. We are given a breathing space from time to time. When we resolve one issue, then another issue crops up as soon as we are beginning to feel as if we can cope with it now. With my own experiences, I know many a time I said, "Thanks God, I can see the light, and I think I can handle it now." No sooner I have said that next day something even bigger would make an uninvited entrance into life. And I used to think as if God is waiting for me to learn and to get over this challenge, then throws me in deep end again. But by learning to connect with my higher self and with many recurring challenges, I have realized that it is our higher self that decides what to experience next. And I have experienced that it is usually a bigger challenge than the one before. It is because once we have mastered some issue, with this new learning, we are ready to enter into a new and higher landscape of life, and our higher self sets up a much more acute turning point in our lives. It happens so that we can enter into higher dimensions of our inner being. This gives us another important message that in ever-changing life experiences, all events are only temporary. Remember, the many frightening challenges that you have had up till now, all have disappeared and you have been successful in resolving these. In the same way, with your intimacy with higher self and the source, you would able to resolve this one as well. All you need is to be aware and awaken to your oneness with your higher self and universe. Universe is very benevolent and generous. You have been protected and guided so far in your life, and in face of present turmoil, your ship would be guided into a protected harbor by your soul self and the universe. It is paramount importance to remember that when we have been given something in our life, our higher self knows that we are capable of resolving it. Otherwise, we would not have been put onto this stage of life. Page 133. Do not give up and lose hope, because it can create many negative emotions. Effects of losing hope are fear, confusion, doubt, loss of confidence, low self-esteem, and depression. When we become disheartened, self-esteem is broken and damaged. It creates more anxiety, and anxiety leads to inability to cope even with little things in your life, and all aspects of life begin to suffer. You have done everything possible and have given your best, and that is all you can do. If nothing is working and all doors seems closed, nothing seems to make sense anymore, surrender the situation to your higher self and ask for the guidance. It is natural to feel lost and lose sense of any purpose. You may lose motivation, any sense of happiness and joy, and life does not feel living worth anymore. You could not care less whether you live or die. Nothing apparently seems to be working. But I can assure you, everything that you are doing is taking you a step further into the landscape of your soul light and love. You are doing inner work, and it takes time to bring the results in external life. Have faith and think it as an opportunity to grow. Journey inwards. Look within. Identify the unresolved issue and deal with it to give it a closure. Change your focus from the negative emotion of disappointment to the learning that you can do. Ask yourself, what new and higher qualities you can develop during this crisis. Keep your attention on the opportunity it can provide. Do not get engulfed by the problem. Focus your attention on the solution rather than the problem. Do not keep on repeating negative thoughts about the situation, because it can make you confused and you would end up in making wrong choices. Wrong decisions leads to more mistakes, and it can make bad situation worse. Remember, disappointed people make disappointing choices. Be optimistic and make positive choices. Page 134. See every situation with the wisdom of your higher self. Know that if there is a problem, there is also a solution. It might take time to find the solution and resolve the problem, because in nature, everything happens according to the great scheme of things. Our soul self follows the great scheme of things, but ego is attracted to its own plan. So listen to your inner voice. Ask your higher self to guide you. There is another important factor that we should remember. It is that our higher self creates a situation in our life with the solution in its strategy. For example, we want to develop confidence and strength. Higher self creates a difficult situation that would test our confidence. It would provide the material in the situation that would draw attention to our weakness and help us to develop confidence and strength. So, if there is a problem, then there has to be an answer, because it is how the problem came into being. For if we need to learn to love unconditionally, our higher self would attract people in our lives that will be very difficult to deal with and would be very negative around us. Remember, everything in our lives have been attracted by our higher self for a specific and higher purpose. Our disappointments are the ugly faces that carry the secrets of our true inner beauty, and our challenge is to unveil that mystery. So try to enter into the heart of the disappointment and find your diamond. Do not set yourself up for defeat. Remember that negative attitude keeps problem intact. The negative emotion can contribute to the cause of problem and create ripples of negative problems in other areas of your life. Always remember that our higher self and universe only brings a situation in our lives that we are capable of dealing with. Relax and take one step at a time. Broaden your horizon. Learn a new skill. Page 135. Do not push too hard. It can create more negative results. Do not magnify your problem by constantly thinking about it. Decide to pursue your higher destiny. Most of the time, we set our goal far less than what our higher self and universe has decided for us. Page 136, Chapter 18. Greater Perspective on Unfulfilled Desires. We all go through life with many disappointments and unfulfilled desires. As we have already discussed, that our higher self weaves an energy body of desire. This energy field is weaved to direct us how best to serve our higher purpose. It carries the energy to motivate us to do our best for realization of our dreams. It works as a track for the directions of the road that would bring best results with minimum efforts. Desires carry the blueprint of the pathways that are laid down on the path of least resistance. It is due to the fact that our higher self has a bigger picture of our life, so it chooses the pathways in accordance to that fact. Higher self does that by taking in consideration of all the lessons that we have already learned and all that we need to learn for the realization of our true soul potential. All the lessons that we have already learned are the foundation of our tendencies. Our higher self knows all that we are capable of handling. We have developed these skills from our previous experiences. Due to this fact, we have already developed strength and resolve to handle certain life situations. And through our desire body, higher self brings those challenges through our life experiences that we are capable of handling. It is a very profound truth of our being. And so, if you have a challenge in your life that is throwing you out of balance, stop, think, and have another look at the situation without thinking, it is beyond me and it is too difficult. Page 137. Connect with your higher self and ask for the guidance. Do not lose hope. And know that if certain situation that seems very challenging is on the stage of your life, that means you have the potential for resolving it. When you think positive and work on the situation as your higher self, you would be guided as to how to cope with it. Remember, the law of universe is that we are only given what we are capable of resolving. Under the challenging circumstance, we have to learn something else as well, and it is that we have to let go of our attachment to a desired outcome. It is because the outcome that we are looking for is usually ego-directed due to our total focus on the external life achievements. We, as our higher self, have planned life to unfold in a certain way. So if you let go of your rigidity regarding how it should work out, then your higher self can take control of the situation and direct you through the desired body towards a higher outcome. Higher self can guide us to achieve our higher purpose in every event of our lives. When you become aware of the new strategy, you may think that it was so obvious. Why could not you see it? It usually happens because we are looking in a wrong direction and miss the most obvious ways to resolve the situation. There is another point to remember, that higher self works for the essence of the experience, while ego looks for a definite outcome according to our values and beliefs. The essence of challenge might be to let go of the rigidity of your attitude. It is very important to work with life situations with attitude of flexibility. Attitude of rigidity keeps us locked within certain ideas, values, and beliefs. By being flexible, you are giving yourself chance to receive a much higher gift of life. The attitude of flexibility generates a higher frequency energy field that makes you more receptive to your own soul light and love. In this landscape of light and love, you can easily let go of your outdated ideas and values. This connection with your own soul light and love opens your heart with more love. Page 138. An opened heart is filled with compassion and loving kindness. That makes it easy for you to embrace your personality that was behaving with rigidity or any other negative behavior into our inner light and love. This creates transformation of that particular personality. Once in embrace of soul light and love, the vibrations of the personality are raised, and you can integrate that personality in your wholeness. That is aim and higher purpose of our life. Our higher purpose is to become complete and whole by bringing all our fragmented parts into the embrace of our soul light and love. When we receive bigger perspective in our lives through our link with higher self, we can look at our unfulfilled desire with a higher point of view. First of all, it could be due to the fact that unfulfilled desire, if fulfilled, would not have served our higher purpose. It could have taken us into a wrong direction altogether. It is because our higher self engineers all the experiences to serve our higher purpose. There is another point of view as well. That is, by fulfillment of that desire, you would have gone in the direction that was not intended for your higher growth, and it would not have served for the good for all who have been part of your life. It is natural law of the universe that your higher self only motivates you to follow a path that is not only good for you, but it is good for all concerned. It signifies the importance of the level of consciousness. The energy signature that you want to express through you would not have been compatible for the people who would have become part of your life by realization of that dream. We can only live out an experience that we can share with the people who are ready to receive what we have on offer. So, if you have an unfulfilled desire, do not be too concerned about it. Know that through completion of that desire, you would not have been able to express your uniqueness with the people who would have entered in the arena of your experiences. You are probably aware that people who do not understand you put up lots of resistance in your life. Page 139. In the same way, by realization of your ego-directed dream, you would end up in wrong place at the wrong time. Just imagining, what would your life have been like if you have succeeded by your strong will? You would have faced lot resistance from people involved. Some people, when they have sensed this energy of incompatibility, put up lot of power struggle. It is because they feel uncomfortable by your presence and would show their anger. You have probably already experienced it in some of your relationships, or it may have been in your job, that once your level of consciousness changes, the same people who were so kind and loving all of a sudden become so indifferent and or annoyed with you. And for even little things that are not worth bothering, they show their resentment and let you know that you are not welcome here anymore. Sometimes people fall out you without any apparent reason. Sometimes even the people you are not directly involved with you just appear out of blue and express their anger. You feel so shocked and shaken and think, what have I done now? You have probably heard the expression that you have overstayed your welcome. It is also true on energy level as well. We cannot only overstay our welcome, sometimes we can also enter uninvited into the space of others. It's because we are so occupied with our own dreams and values that we forget to check the validity of our achievements in terms of overall compatibility with our surroundings. So, unfulfilled desires would be protecting you from many negative experiences that you would have had if you would realize your dreams. In fact, once we understand the bigger picture and our higher purpose and see our unfulfilled desires in relation to this wisdom, we would be able to let go of pain and suffering that is caused by these failures. Not only this, I think here we have something to be grateful for. If we have entered that uninvited arena of universe, we would have wasted our energy and time. Not only that, we would have forged many negative relationships and accumulated many unfinished issues. Page 140. This would have resulted many unhealed parts in our psyche. We would have also created some unnecessary negative issues and karmas in lives of others. You have probably got some insights as to how unnecessarily we worry about things in our life that are in fact serving our higher purpose and highest good. These unfulfilled desires and dreams are in fact blessings in disguise. Let go the packaging and see the deeper truth, and be grateful and count your blessings. We can frame it differently, that when we have worked hard and faced many challenges in following our dreams, but in spite all our efforts failed anyway, it could be an opportunity to learn to live our lives with attitude of letting go of our attachment to the success. Ego way of success is based on material gains, while higher self's parameter is whether something serves in realization of higher purpose or not. We have to change the way we define success and abundance. Go within and ask yourself, are you ready to redefine your success and abundance? Find your truth and reinvent yourself. Sometimes we might have already realized what we want to achieve, but are not able to see. It is usually because we are looking for it in the wrong place. As we have already discussed, that higher self designs the experiences of life so we can develop higher ways of living by which we can become fully awakened beings of light and love. It could be possible that we have learned these higher values during the process, and now there is no need to do this on the stage of our life. It is because the necessary attitude has already been integrated through some other aspect of our lives, so it is not necessary anymore to see it through in that aspect of life where we were trying it. For example, you were developing the attitude of staying in your center in spite of the turmoils of life, and during the process, you learned that and you have integrated that truth into some other part of life. Because you have already adopted the attitude of peace and calm in your life, so it is not necessary anymore to realize that particular dream and play it out. Page 141. It means you are progressing well and learning fast. You are radiating your soul light and love in the expressions of your external life. Remember, our universe is very kind and gracious, and we would always have what we need and is necessary for our higher good. There is another much more profound truth. It is that when our desire for something is really strong, our higher self finds a way to fulfill it. As we have discussed before, that we are beings of multidimensional existence and reality. To understand what I am going to say, it is of paramount importance to remember this fact. Sometimes, when we really want to have something, and it is not possible to realize in the place we live, so our soul self projects itself in another dimension and makes our dream come true. All other dimensions of the universe are shared by beings just like our planet Earth. To fulfill our heartfelt desires that are not suitable for the state of consciousness of the world, our soul self chooses a dimension that is compatible for realization of our desire. So, if you have an unfulfilled desire, do not worry. Know that somewhere in the universe your desire is being fulfilled by you due to grace of the universe. Great initiates have said that when we leave this world and enter into the astral plane, all our desires can be fulfilled there. But I think we have everything within us, and as soul self, we really and truly desire something, it can be fulfilled by us now into another part of the world, live in now, or into one of the higher frequency dimensions of the universe. Many higher initiates of the spiritual path have said that soul self can weave the energy and realize the dreams into the parallel worlds. Some mystics have said, all desires of soul are fulfilled, and it is one of the reasons that soul becomes bound to journey through the various dimensions of earth and many reincarnations on earth. Level of consciousness. The law of universe is that to receive anything in our lives, we have to develop that specific state of consciousness that can sustain what we want. We can only receive what we are capable of receiving. Page 142. It means we have to the specific frequency particles in our aura that are able to hold the energy form of what we want to have in our lives. All what we have in our lives is due to our ability to receive and sustain that. Otherwise, we would not be experiencing these in our lives. So, if you have an unfulfilled dream or desire, it could be that you have developed a state of consciousness that does not make you receptive to it. For everything that we want, we would have to generate optimum amount of energy to manifest it in our life. Scientists call it a critical mass. It is essential amount of energy that is of vibration frequencies that is necessary to see the desired outcome in our life. So what you have not manifested yet, but you are working on it and wondering why you are not seeing any substantial results, this could be one of the reasons. Sometimes, instead of pushing in the same direction, when it is not showing any results, we have to look at other aspects of our lives. It is because sometimes we have to make some changes in one of other aspects of life that is also on hold or generating too many negative vibrations. These negative vibrations in one aspect of life can also literally block our success in a field that does not seem to have any direct relevance on our dreams. It is because nothing works in isolation, and changes in one aspect of our life can change all the other aspects to a great deal. Even a single thought sent ripples to all other energy fields of our multidimensional being and change the vibrational frequencies. All energy fields, including our physical body, work as one single unit, and so it is necessary to pay attention to other aspects of life to see if you can make a necessary shift in consciousness. Sometimes our plan may not work due to much pushing on our behalf. You might be trying too hard, and that could be blocking the flow of energy from it. We should do our best and then leave to the greater forces of the universe. When you have done all that you can do, surrender it to your higher self and the universe. Page 143. Have faith. If it is for your highest good and good for all, you will receive that in your life. Universe is working for us, and the law of grace ensures that we would always have what we need for our highest growth. So, when we have done our best, we should step out of our own way and let universe deal with it. It needs lots of courage to have trust and faith. Your unrealized dreams may the challenges you set up for yourself so you can develop an attitude of faith and trust. Even though you might have an attitude of trust and faith, but remember, there is always another step to go. All our lives, we are working on expanding the state of our consciousness, and all the qualities we have also need refining to enter into even higher dimensions of our inner being. It raises our vibrations, and we can enter deep into the landscape of our soul light and love. Life is an ongoing journey, and all our experiences bring us opportunity to redefine our attitude so we can realize our higher purpose. It could be that you have set up a challenge to see if you can balance your life even when things are not going your way. To achieve balance in our lives is a very essential step for our higher growth. It is easy to trust and stay within your calm and balanced center when things are working in our favor. But when we face failure, it is another story. We have to really learn to anchor ourselves in our inner center of peace and calm. It is because if we lose our balance, we would become very restless and make wrong choices. Wrong decisions lead life into dark territories, and we would suffer pain and hurt. It is very difficult to deal with pain and suffering because it creates a drop in our frequencies. We suffer from depression and anxiety, which causes further drop in our energy level. We lose confidence and hope. It lowers our state of consciousness. One of the important lessons of life is to learn to anchor ourselves in our own soul vastness, where we are so secured that any outside failure and turmoil of life is not large enough to move us from our center. Page 144. So, when our higher self has created a failure in our lives, it could be time to learn to operate from our inner center of peace and calm, so we can learn to anchor ourselves in the vast land of our soul light and love. That is why it is of paramount importance to go within. Ask your higher self, why I have created this situation in my life? What I am learning from this? What is higher purpose of this situation in my life? By going within and contemplating on these questions, you would find your own reasons for your own life experiences. You are unique, and why something is in your life has its specific purpose as well. No one can ever see, feel, or be aware in any way of what is in the womb of your field of experiences. The mystery behind the unfulfilled desire is so varied and deep that it is difficult to make sense of life experiences on all levels of our multidimensional reality. If you, as your higher self, has decided to go through that wilderness that causes so much pain, this is always due to some important reason. The reason behind your unfulfilled dreams may be that you are living your life by extremes, and it is time to put these in proper perspective. It is so that you can balance your life. We would take an example of attitude of giving. Many people live their life by attitude of giving. That is the way they have decided as higher selves to express their uniqueness. It would be the primary and basic tendency through which some of us have decided to relate to life. Might be you are a giver as well and have decided as soul to experience life by giving, and it has been blown out of proportion. You are giving too much to people around you. You are helping people when they don't want it, or they needed your help for some reason, and long after the need has disappeared, you continue to give. This is because you are not reflecting on what you are doing for others. Ask yourself, how far should I go? In the first place, whenever you decide to help someone, go within and ask yourself, should I help them? Is it for their highest good? Page 145. It is because sometimes people don't really want any help. They only want you to listen. Some people are very dependent and they want to resolve their issues or problems with their own efforts. They feel hurt when you help them. It becomes kind of intrusion and can create negative vibrations. Sometimes people are not very receptive to the help you are offering, and these waves of energy may bounce back into your aura. This makes you become closed and you begin to feel resentment because energy is not flowing where it is being sent, but is trying to re-enter into your own energy field. That creates confusion and generates negative particles of low frequency vibrations that are constantly bombarding on your aura. It brings your energies into protective mode. It creates imbalance in all your energy fields. Attitude of giving is very positive and higher quality. But if out of balance, it could create many negative experiences in our life. Use your inner sense to decide whether to help or not, how much help, and for how long. Be careful not to make people dependent on you. By your help, try to empower others. Help in such a way that it enhances and encourages others to take control of their own lives. Help should be geared in a way that it gives direction and energy to others so that can take care of themselves and become self-supporting. You should learn to step back and give them the chance to develop their independence. If you find it difficult, you can assure them that you are always ready to step in if it is necessary and if they cannot handle it by themselves. So they know there is a safety net and it will give them courage and confidence. You should also remember that there are people who would become dependent on you and become like parasites that feed on your energy. They would begin to draw your energy and time unnecessarily. Due to your generosity, people would begin to take you for granted. Page 146. There are people who are always wanting more and more. More you give them, that is, you do for them, more they want you to do. Not only that, more you do for people, more they resent you or become jealous of you. They also begin to blame you for problems of their lives which have nothing to do with you. That is very demoralizing. So, be in charge of your values and beliefs. Do not be slave to even your positive personality. Remember, it is not your true identity. It is one of your personalities through which you are expressing yourself. It is the way you have decided to serve your higher purpose. Take charge so that it will serve your higher good and good for all others who are involved. extreme of any behavior in any aspect is negative. It has to be balanced with discretion of your higher self. Do not be blinded by it. Remember, all of your personality selves can operate with many varied frequencies. Our ego is also evolving as we are evolving, and it can influence you in a very subtle aspects. We might begin to operate purely with our personality under the influence of our ego and be totally unaware of it. We might think we are living our lives under the guidance of our higher selves, but unaware of the fact that our ego has changed its mask and is influencing us through our so-called higher ways of living. In fact, ego is our own energy as well, that is disguised in the expressions of lower frequencies. Because it mainly functions for the survival of our physical existence. The way to honor your higher self is to always reflect on what is happening in your life. Ask your higher self, what is the result of the various ways you are living your life? And go within and ask your higher self to guide you as to how to express your higher self in the world of your experiences. This strategy would alert you when you are out of balance and when something is not serving your higher purpose, and when it is not good for others who are involved with you. So, the failures in your life may be guiding you to let go of the extremes of way of attitude of giving. It is a warning to balance your life. Page 147. Challenge is to let go of the outdated idea of giving without thinking about the consequences. Many times, to balance our attitudes and way of life, we have to experience the negative aspects of our beliefs and values. Our world works within the expressions of positive and negative. Like the symbols of yin and yang, cycle of expression is energy that embraces both negative and positive. Negative carries the positive in it, and positive carries the negative in it. We start journey from negative and come to the center of positive. And in the same way, we can begin from positive and come to experience the negative aspect of it. So, by the positive attitude of giving, but not under the guidance of higher self, you have completed the cycle of energy by seeing the negative side by attracting toxic relationships. Through failures, we might be learning that by living our lives with attitude of giving, we have not learned to receive. Might be part of you is not prepared to receive, even when it is success and realization of your dreams. Because somewhere you have made an agreement with yourself that you are going to live your life just by giving. So might be your challenge is to balance and learn to receive. It is learning to give ourselves permission to receive our highest good. Until we allow ourselves to receive something, universe cannot give that to us. So, somewhere you could be blocking the energy that can help you in realization of your dreams. Connect with your higher self and give yourself permission to receive what you want, and let go of the blocks by balancing your energies. We are all different, and on the other scale of receiving, some of us have decided to live our lives with the consciousness of receiving. They depend on others and want someone else to fulfill their needs. As we said, most of communication is on energy level and we can read each other's energy vibrations. Page 148. So those people who are looking for someone to fulfill their needs, they can read energy of people who are in giving mode. This happens on invisible as well visible levels. So some of the connections are made with being consciously aware of it. Some people use others consciously due to their negative approach to life. However it is done, the essence is that some of us become dependent on others. If there is failure in your life, you should look at your basic tendencies and see what has been your primary way of relating to life. Go within and look with total honesty. Be totally candid and transparent to yourself in your inner worlds. It is necessary for us to become transparent and have an impartial look what lies deep within our dark corners that needs light and love of our higher self. Ask yourself, can your failed desires be pointing out that you need to learn to take responsibility of your life? You need to learn to live your life as your higher self and experiences your life with your own unique way. We all need cooperation and support from others, but we have to learn to do our best as well. There are two sides to the equation of realizing our dreams. One of them and foremost is our sincere approach, and that with added teaching, support and information or help on some level from our surroundings that brings ultimate results. But say, for example, if you spend your life being totally dependent on others, how would you cope with life experiences when no one is around to help you? Dependence on others robs you of beauty and majesty of life. Life becomes enriched and enhanced by balancing both aspects of giving and receiving. Balanced energy exchange creates higher frequencies in aura of both who are sharing. While when one is mostly receiving and the other mostly giving, it creates negative vibrations in aura of both parties. This creates imbalance of all energy fields for both of them. Free flow of energy is blocked and both begin to suffer on many levels. It might be time to let go attitude of dependence on others. Learn to connect with your higher self by living your life with heightedness awareness and regain your own self-worth. It is necessary to develop your own inner self-worth if you want to serve your higher purpose in life. Page 149. If you want to claim your inner joy and live your life from your inner peace and tranquility, you have to have an inner knowing that no matter where you are now in your life and what is the reason for it, you are a unique child of universe and you deserve to have joy and happiness in your life. Abundance in all aspects is our birthright, and we all deserve the best in our lives because universe loves us unconditionally. Universe is very benevolent and gracious. All we have to do is to give ourselves permission to receive it. Go within, and by learning to meditate, develop a relationship with your higher self, and your higher self will guide you as to what direction you need to take in your life. Within your inner worlds, You have access to all the resources that you need to be independent and live your life by expressing who you truly are. There is no need to live your life through energy of others. You are soul, you are free, and in soul freedom you can experience your life with your own resources. There is another way to look at your unrealized dreams, and it could be that you have abundance in many aspects of life, but you never ever appreciate what you have. You have never expressed your gratitude for the abundance in some aspect of your life that you have been blessed with so far. Some of us feel proud of their achievements and never appreciate the contribution other people have made in their lives. They do not know what humility is and never have a nice word for anyone. They take their abundance for granted. They take others for granted and never appreciate their kind and loving gesture. This might sound something very trivial to some of you, but it is a very important aspect of life. Living without appreciation of life forces and people in our lives is a very negative approach to life. It creates negative particles in our aura. It is a sign of closed heart. If you want to connect to higher self, you need to break through the armors of your heart that are blocking the flow of love energy through you. Page 150. Attitude of loving kindness is a must if you want to live your life as your higher self. If you are not succeeding, please see if you are appreciating all things in your life, including little things. See if you say thanks to people when they are kind to you. Do you think because you pay them for the job they do, there is no need to say thanks? Learn to say thanks with your heart. Be genuine. Do not say thanks for sake of saying it, as if it is your duty. Say it with love. If you fill your heart with love, then you would be able to genuinely appreciate people in life. When you say thank you, in fact, more than anything else, you are showing that you are filled with loving kindness and compassion. Attitude of appreciation shows that your heart is filled with love and you are accepting and acknowledging everyone that crosses the path of your life. The attitude of appreciation and gratitude expands the state of our consciousness. It increases our intimacy with your higher self. It connects you with your higher dimensions. Due to all these facts, you begin to attract much more abundance and success in many aspects of your life. You know something that everything in nature can understand and receive the energy of appreciation. The energy of appreciation carries the frequencies of unconditional love. It is your connection on very higher level of your inner reality. By appreciation, you can connect with the heart of universe. I had some wonderful experiences myself. One of these experiences I would like to share with you to make my point. It shows how easy it is to make a link with unconditional love of the universe. Every day, when I used to go work, I used to give thanks to all the trees that were on that road. There was a park on the way, and there was a row of beautiful trees. I used to express my gratitude for making my journey so beautiful and interesting. I do love nature, and my face used to lit up and I really felt happy when I passed that stretch where trees were. One evening, when I was returning home from work, something very surprising happened. I was approaching my favorite stretch where these trees were, and I suddenly saw a wave of energy of love radiating from these trees. It was a single wave that was radiating from all these trees as if they were all joined together. Page 151. It seemed as one total wave. These trees were not separated trees anymore, as I used to see them. They were all part of one consciousness. It was love consciousness. Tremendous love was radiating through this wave of love. It was so huge, I can literally see it. It was there for me. This wonderful wave of love embraced me. It embraced my whole being. I was filled with wonder and awe. I can only say there are no words to explain what kind of feeling of love it was. Even now, when I think about it, I still feel the ecstasy and bliss I felt that evening. I had quite a few beautiful and loving experiences with nature. Try that yourself. Everything that exists is conscious, but it is different expression of consciousness and many times beyond our understanding. But nevertheless, universal unconditional love is inherent in all forms of existence. Our universe is filled with love. If we just let go our limited ways of experiencing love, a whole new world of love can open up for us. We only have to be willing to receive love and not put any conditions to universe that we want to feel love from only certain person and in certain ways. We can have our hearts filled with ocean of love that is there for us. Hold your hand out and fill your heart with the unconditional love. When you feel unloved, do not be disheartened. Sit down quietly. Put your attention on your third eye area. Take few deep breaths and relax yourself completely. Go within and ask your higher self to fill your heart with its unconditional love, and you will be amazed with the results. You will be so filled with love that all the disappointment of not receiving love from a particular person will melt away. There is another exercise you can do when you get a chance. If you can sit under a tree and connect to tree consciousness and ask it to connect you with love that is flowing through universe, it will fill your heart with love. It will fill you with joy and ecstasy. It is very powerful mediation. Try it and open many doors to experience true love that is flowing in universe. Page 152. When you have failed in realizing any of your dreams, it could be that as your primary basic way of living, you have chosen a difficult road. You might have decided to learn by failures. If you go within and reflect on your life, see what has been your main theme. Have you set up many difficulties along the roadways of your life? Go deeply within the energy of your beliefs. Do you believe that life is hard and it is difficult to become successful? It could be that one of the aspects of life could seem easy to you, while other aspects may appear difficult. For example, You might have a belief that your relationships with family members are happy and easy to handle, but dealing with outside world, you might think people are not trustworthy and find it difficult. If it is so, you would have difficulty in maintaining relationship with people outside your family. In the same way, you might have a belief that you are a failure and there is no way that you can succeed, and when you do something with this attitude, you would not be able to realize your dreams. It is because universe mirrors our beliefs. It cannot give us anything that we don't believe in. Universe works like that you see and get in life what you believe in. Universe reflects our state of consciousness. But remember, we are geared up for our higher evolution, and any time in life when we decide to change our beliefs and attitudes, we can change the primary basic program by which we are living our lives with. Learn to connect with your higher self. Change your beliefs and you would be able to change your state of consciousness. And this would bring new and higher experiences in your life. It could be that you basically have a very pessimistic view of life and do not open your heart with enthusiasm and excitement when you do something. The energy moves with the force of our emotions. Feeling of enthusiasm and excitement is a must for realizing our dreams. Page 153. Life events gather momentum with the attitude of love. If our hearts are open and we are filled with love for all what we do, then success becomes easy. More you love to do something, more chances you have of realizing that in your life. Attitude of love is the fuel for the movement of energy. The intensity of our love to do something raises our vibrations accordingly, and it also gives the message to universe that we really want to have that in our life. Attitude of love fills our aura with higher frequencies and increases our receptivity field. We can only have something in our lives when we are capable of holding those frequencies in our aura. In simple words, we have to make room for what we want in our aura first before we can receive it. These are some of the reasons, but you need to go within your own inner worlds to see what is the reason behind your failures in realizing your dreams. We, as our higher self, set the various experiences of our lives, and by going within, you can find out what is your specific reason to set the failures on the stage of your life. It is not for judging ourselves. Everything that we have set up in our lives is there to serve us in realization of our higher purpose. But it can only happen when we look at our failures in a transparent and candid, but in a detached way, so that we can learn the necessary lessons and move ahead in life. It is so that we can become wholesome beings of light and love that we truly are.
Page 154, Lesson 19. Importance of attitude of consciousness of freedom. Freedom is the most important state of consciousness that anyone can achieve. Whatever we have in our lives binds us and takes our freedom away. We make decisions based on how much money we'll make, how much fame and popularity we'll get, how much approval we'll get, what kind of fame we'll have in life. Will my partner stay with me or leave? The decisions based on material gains of any kind bind us to those things, and according to what we want, we become tied to the rules and regulations of that object or subject. If you want to make a lot of money, you have to follow certain rules and regulations as to how you make that money. Remember, we also make many sacrifices to achieve what we want. To keep relationship alive, we put up with much pain and suffering. In doing so, we become slave to the process of the way we have learned to get what we want. Different people have different ideas. Although there are certain common rules, every partnership brings different issues depending on the state of consciousness of the people involved. Like you have to work hard, give everything you have, even your own happiness and your family's happiness. If you want others to like you, you have to learn to please them. In a way that you have to follow the rules laid down by others, and if you do not, you risk losing the favors. Once you get what you want, you have to work hard to maintain the status quo.
Page 155.
You lose your freedom to adventure into this wonderful world. You have no freedom to enjoy little wonders of the world. You'll have no freedom to venture freely with your inborn spontaneity in this majestic landscape of life. You have to put your true feelings aside while you please others. You have to suppress your innate freedom to get what you want. We are all hooked to what we want. We are chained to the desire of pleasing our physical sense. The inner voice of your soul self has to be ignored to follow the call of the pseudo-glitters of the objects of the world of illusion. We might be sitting in the air-conditioned offices, but we have no time to feel the cool, soft breeze of nature on our skin and enjoy the captivating beauty of the nature that can open our higher senses that has been lost in the concrete jungles. In trying to achieve success based on the materialistic world, we cannot make free choices in response to call of our higher self. We might have many riches of the material world, but our inner landscape has become a desert where there is no life. There's no true happiness and joy. The ground within our heart is parched with the lack of love and light. It is filled with greed and attachment of me and mine that has drained life out of it. Remove the hooks of what you want if you want to be free and happy. It does not mean that you should have no desires and should not have anything that you want. The only thing that you should not identify with them. It is important to make choices depending whether these honor your higher self or not. Make your decision with your soul freedom, not purely based on the material gains. Even when the boundary wall is made of gold, it makes you prisoner. Prison is a prison if it is a palace because you lose your freedom. Remember that the boundaries are erected by your attachment or an identification. When we become dependent on others in any capacity, our soul becomes uncomfortable and creates the circumstances to free us from the entanglement. Pain is felt by the conditioned mind because it wants to settle for less and wants to follow a familiar pathway which is easy.
Page 156.
It is all due to fear of some kind. Fear, it is the matrix of the lower worlds. The energy of fear stops us from growing into light and love. We are under the grips of the lower vibration energy of the lower worlds and we are afraid to lose what we have. The fear stops us from moving forward by creating an illusion that we are only a body and we would be destroyed by following the inner soul light and love. If you want to discover your original state of being you, you have to integrate the energy created by painful events of life and taking your steps on the pathway of light and love. The true freedom is a state of consciousness that allows you to listen to your heart and follow the direction of its song. In that state of consciousness of freedom, you have the potential of going beyond the fear of not being accepted by the society. When you experience true soul freedom, you would be able to live an authentic life without weighing up the rewards and punishment value of the external gains. It is far sure that when our lives are governed by the law of acceptance by others, there could be no freedom whatsoever. If you want something other than what life has to offer, then there's no freedom. True freedom is in experiencing what your life brings you without judging it by what you think is good or bad. Buddhists call it no mind or choiceless awareness. It is imperative to understand that when your life is in the state of conditioned mind, any sense of freedom is only an illusion. True soul freedom is a state of consciousness that allows you to just flow in the river of life without any resistance. Resistance would surely make you sink rather than swim. True soul freedom means the courage to live life under guidance of our higher self. It means freedom from the patterns of values and beliefs. To achieve the state of true freedom, we need to let go the old patterns of responding to life that makes us feel obliged to live our lives with the values of external world.
Page 157.
Various personalities we have developed to give some order to our life in the external world, which has made us prisoner in our own life arena. Every personality we have was engineered to protect us and fulfill our needs. But instead, these become so powerful that these have taken control of our lives. All the lessons of our life are a reminder of some changes that we have to make to enter into the next higher dimension of our inner landscape of soul, light, and love. When we become too rigid, we become slave to our own creation. When we are held prisoner by our personality, self-life becomes painful and traumatic. What has served in our best interest one day would not serve us forever in the same way. It is because as we are learning our lessons, our state of consciousness is expanding and we need to enter into the next level of platform of life to integrate the wisdom into our day-to-day life. If we keep using the same strategy in this state of transition, we would not be able to grow. And when energy cannot move it, it creates pain and suffering, and the lessons learned are to break the pattern of rigidity. In our lifetime, we go through many varied experiences. We might be able to express freedom in some areas of life, while in other aspects, we might feel confused and lost. The areas and aspects of life where we are experiencing pain and confusion is the indicator that in that area, we have not connected to our soul freedom. When we feel at a loss and cannot see any movement, it reflects the parts of our being that we have not been able to take into our hearts. It is the area of our life where we have not been able to respond in a way that would honor our higher self. We might not feel that we have freedom to remove it from our lives, but we have the freedom in the way we choose to respond to the situation. We can trust our higher self for bringing the situation in our life for our highest good. It is a law of nature that all the events of our lives can serve for our higher growth, but the only condition is to embrace these in our soul light and love and enter into the inner world to see its purpose in our life.
Page 158.
And there is another factor that we can never remove anything from our lives by rejecting it and try to run away from it. The strategy of escape does not work if you want true freedom. True freedom is the way of being that accepts all that life brings with open heart and mind. Remind yourself that whatever the circumstances, you have the access to your higher wisdom, and through this comes the knowing to see in what aspects of the situation you can work with your soul freedom. Once you take one little step, you would be guided to the ways of dealing with more freedom. So it is important to see that you have freedom no matter what and find out the most obvious way you can express your freedom. It keeps your higher vision intact, so other areas where you can respond with more awareness and freedom would begin to become much more clear and transparent. This attitude of freedom would open many doorways of successfully releasing you from the idea of being a prisoner of your own circumstances. We are usually prisoner of our own attitudes that we are not ready to let go. When we are afraid of losing something, we become prisoner to it. Learn to take life easy. Nothing we have that we brought with us. All things that we claim to be ours are what we acquired from this planet. The law of nature is that when we lose something, it is returned to us by the gracious universe. In fact, more we try to grasp something, more chances we have to lose it. Learn to live your life with your soul freedom, because when we operate with our soul freedom, we flow in harmony with the great scheme of things. When you flow freely in tune with greater cosmic flow, you live in a state of true joy and bliss. For achieving the consciousness of freedom, we have to learn to let go of our attachment. Another important factor is that we have to learn to live in here and now. That means living in each moment with full awareness. Page 159, Lesson 20, Importance of living in here and now. Living mindfully in the present moment is of profound importance if you want to honor your higher self. Remember, no one can rewind the time. Whatever happens in our lives, we forget that with time. Just imagine if we become locked every time anything negative happened to us and decided to stay in that state of consciousness. What would be our world like? There would be no movement in life. Life is very resilient, and we have capability of moving out of any traumatic situation of our life with an expanded state of consciousness. It means, in spite of all the traumas we ever endured, we can experience love in our lives. We can not only learn to love ourselves, but we can also learn to love others as well. If we all stopped a prisoner to the time when things go wrong, our world will become a graveyard of pain and suffering where there would be no life. Time is moving with the natural rhythm of the great scheme of things, and with the time, everything passes and changes. Our ideas and ambitions change with time. All the dreams for tomorrow are not the absolute truth. As we change, our dreams and aspirations change as well. What really matters is that how honestly we are living in the present moment. You cannot rewind time, you can only go forward or get stuck in the negative state of emotions. Live each present moment with a smile that radiates inner happiness, the smile that radiates the message that everything is happening for your highest good. The true smile that will not disappear when you are experiencing unhappy events in your external life.
Page 160. Each new moment holds in its embrace an essential and specific theme. It is unique to your needs and it is scared. This is soul essence that you need to attain in your life. It has a special wisdom for you that you have to unravel. Do everything as if it is your prayer. Do everything as if it is your meditation. Do everything with full responsibility. Give your best to each act of your day-to-day life. Give your best to each new moment of life. Let every act express your inner truth. Let it reflect your integrity. Think how would it affect your life and how will it enhance and empower life of others.
We hardly think of others because we are not aware of the implications of our action. We are too preoccupied in taking care of our interest that we forget that we are part of the whole, and our actions do affect the whole universe. Live your life with goodwill for others. Think of well-being of others as well. Do not abuse any resources. We are here on the planet Earth to share the gifts of our Mother Nature. When you abuse any resources, you can deprive someone who needs it and may suffer due to lack of it. Might not be now, but in future. Future generation may not enjoy it if we use it unnecessarily. When you live in the present moment, you are free from any baggage of the past. The burden of past is not on your shoulders when you live in the now moment. When you are living your life by being fully alive in the energy of each unfolding moment, yesterday cannot affect you. The wrongdoings of past do not create any guilt in your psyche because you are living in the new and higher vibrations of the great scheme of things. The cosmic energy is always new and pure. It will lift you up into its own heart. There is no punishment of the past actions. Guilt is not part of any unfolding moments of the great scheme of things. By being alive in the newness of the each unfolding moments as it is happening, your psyche cannot affect your reaction as cause and effect. You are just being yourself. It is not as a consequence of past success or future. You are beyond all the effects of past.
Page 161.
The energy is pure. What has happened and the way it has happened, just the way you have lived your life under the influences of illusion. It is because you did not remember your higher and your essence. It was okay at the time it happened, but the beauty of being fully alive in the present moment is that you do not have to carry it as a part of you in your future as well. On the time, token success, fame and glory of the past, which you experienced as a personality, will not dictate your future. You can learn to live as your higher self in each unfolding moment. Living mindfully in the moment. What does it mean? And is it all possible considering the nature of our mind? Attending each moment as it is unfolding in its natural flow is the passport to entrance to the landscape of your true being. It means you do not plan and wait for it to happen first and then you enter into it with all the baggage of your ego. It is too late, then you have already missed the boat. You have entered into it but not moved with and experienced it how it truly is. You have not honored your original self because you have not moved with the universal flow. When you learn to live life with the state of consciousness of your eternal self, you are one with the universe and the universe is one with you. And as such, you are always where life is truly unfolding in its original essence. It means you always live into the present moment with your soul awareness. This cannot be done with pre-planning. It can only be entered with spontaneity and open heart. It is ever-present you in the ever-present universal force. When you learn to live your life as your soul self, in the beginning, when you think you are going to be more mindful in each moment, you are using your thought process. Thought process is guided by the ego self. So you would be entering the moment with your egocentric me and mine energy. As soon as we see or hear something, our mind goes and enters into the past memory records and immediately compares it and judges it according to the old memories.
Page 162.
And depending on the past experiences, your ego self approves it or disapproves it. So you decide to either reject or accept it. It's obvious that you are not living your life with mindfulness and with heightened awareness. The conclusion of this is that first of all, you have only heard or seen and or felt what is happening only in part, and as your mind goes to compare it with your conditioning programming, you have not been attentive to the rest of the unfolding moment. It means you are not attending to each moment as new. You are living in the past and dragging what is happening in now in the old. As such, your thought process or the ego self has intervened between your total natural awareness and the life as it is happening in the moment. You are living the past and it's already dead and does not truly exist. You are only watching the return of the same old movie, and not only that, your ego is making sure that you never get your freedom as your soul self. You're seeing the old image in slightly different pattern that your ego used to hide the original nature so it can fool you. It means you're living your present according to the memory of the past meaning with same old belief and values. And if you keep doing the things same way, you are going to get the similar kind of result. People and place might be different, but the outcome will always be negative and painful. In each moment of life, there's a new song of the universe being played. But instead of joining in, you're playing an old recorded because it is familiar. It means you're stuck in the energy of ego which sees everything as me and mine and identifies with it. It means you are caught in the loop of energy replay, and as such, you are only recreating the same kind of life events in your life today and tomorrow. By doing this, you are solidifying your state of consciousness. It means you are crystallizing the energy into the molds of old conditioning.
Page 163.
Live your life mindfully with your soul awareness and throw these old cards away. Flow and float freely into the universe. Become adventurous. Do not live in the pond that has become stagnant. Move into the ocean of life force. That is where you will realize your totality. It is where you can learn to live your life with your original innocence. Be brave and get rid of all the old molds and dyes that have outlived their usefulness and live your life with your soul freedom. You are soul, and in soul you are free to realize who you truly are and where is your original belonging. All your conditioned responses have made the wheel of illusion too thick and more or less impenetrable. Do not add to its density by keep looking back. The energy of the universe is always unfolding into new, and it moves away as a new moment arises. And once energy has moved away, no matter how many times you revisit the old dead images, you cannot enter into the majesty and magic of life. Let these echoes of past energy disappear into the universal ocean. Don't let your past guide the present. Let go of the past. Your past can only interfere with your present when you have not set the accounts straight. Make each event of life a finished business so that you do not keep repeating same kind of experiences many times. If your past becomes alive in your present moment, you would bring that energy into the present moment. Also, when you are not fully alive into the present moment, your past can become an unwelcomed intruder into your present life, and by doing so, you never experience life as whole. You experience it with your old baggage. Remember, it colors your present life with old shades of past. It creates a glue which fixes your energy particles in the past. It hampers your growth. It robs you the opportunity of seeing the beauty and magnificence of life as it is happening in now. This only infuses your life with negative energy and drains your true power because your soul self cannot express itself in the dense vibration platform. Page number 164, lesson 21, letting go of attachment. When you learn to live your life by honoring your higher self, it will guide you in all your dealings of day-to-day life. Remember that the state of consciousness that creates obstruction in connecting to the eternal you is created by wanting things to satisfy our ego. This wanting eventually leads to negative emotions of anger, aggression, jealousy, envy, greed, pride, and vanity. When you act at your ego level, you are in tune with the vibrations of the lower realms of experiencing life. That means you are acting as being one with the negative powers of illusion. The realms of illusion governs us by the energy of fear. It directs us to experience life within the bounds of ego. On the other hand, when you let go of your identification with your many personalities, you are in flux with the energies of your source self. The personalities that you use to express and experience your life with, total focus on the physical life as your true reality, will always misguide you. Your eternal self has the wisdom and unconditional love in its center, and with the awareness of your eternal self, you can let go of fear. Once you let go of fear as the backdrop of your reactions to the life, you can become in tune with your inner love spring. You will have to access to inner wisdom and knowingness of your original self. When you experience life with love and expectance, you will not dragged by the energy of false identification with the desires and expressions of your ego.
Page 165.
Most of our lives, we are acting as puppets to our ego's desires and are being pulled by the strings of egos. It is influenced by the various masks that we wear for playing various roles in our lives. Under the ego directive, we begin to identify ourselves as I am successful, I am spiritual, I am rich, I do not like such a thing, and I like such a thing. If you want to experience the real majesty and wonder of life, it is essential to let yourself flow into the harmony of whatever life brings. Learn to live by being fully alive in the expression of the moment. You have a choice whether you let your energy flow freely or become stuck in the drama or ego of being pulled by the strings of the collective consciousness. Freely flowing with the life's energy transport you into the transparent cosmic river, but following your ego can imprison your majesty into a little pond. The energy of the pond is very slow moving and soon becomes polluted. You become weighed down by your own worn out beliefs and values. It magnetizes experiences of pain and suffering, and this leads to low self-esteem. The very important question is that, why cannot you move into the higher self of your consciousness? It is due to the various level of attachment. Too much attachment can translate as stubbornness, inflexibility, rigidity, and obsession. It leads to identification and makes the impersonal and transitory things of lower worlds personal issues. Identification with your belief and values builds boundaries between true you and the personality selves. You become so confused that you think you are these values. Our energy becomes fused with the matrix of the collective consciousness of the physical world we live in, and this is what creates difficulties in letting go. The process of letting go is necessary if you want to move into the higher state of consciousness and explore the higher ways to experience life's majesty. It is imperative to let go of your present state of experiencing life to move into the higher and expanded state of consciousness.
Page 166.
The experience of attachment is an essential emotion of the worlds of illusion. To make a paradigm shift in the state of consciousness, you need to learn to explore the dynamics of the energy of attachment. Do not see it as a totally negative and unnecessary state of consciousness. It is because this attitude will create more negative experiences in your life. By denying this very important experiences of the world of illusion, you will end up having many suppressed and denied issues. All life experiences that are denied and suppressed create an unhealed life. The energy generated by the suppressed issue accumulates under the pressure of denial and is a volcano in formation. It is the volcano that is waiting to erupt. It keeps pushing its way to the surface so that you can see and resolve the unfinished business. And one day, when enough pressure has built up, it will create destruction and chaos in your life. It has the force and power of volcano. It destroys everything in its path. We can only succeed for a while, and then a time comes when if we do not consciously face up to the denied issues and embrace our dark shadows, universe takes control and throws us into the deep end. All the accounts have to be settled and balanced before you can move back to your original source. So instead of seeing attachment only as negative energy, perceive it as an opportunity to grow. Consider it as an opening in the dark alleys of illusion. It is a time to get out from the landscape of slow burning fire that is consuming you in its wake. Use the energy to discover the reality of the world of illusion. Use it to discover your deeper truth. The experience of attachment is a process rather than just a passing by event. You have to experience attachment in order to understand non-attachment. It is also necessary so you can cross the threshold of your attachment to various things and people in your life and leave the stage of negative experiences without carrying the baggage with you for this lifetime or might be many more lifetimes.
Page 167.
Attachment has a cycle. An upward cycle that is positive half. You'll fall in love with something or someone. It feels exciting. It is energizing. It feels like you are on the top of the world. Then the next stage is that you want to have it at any cost and ready to do whatsoever it takes to have that. For a while it maintains the excitement and feeling of euphoria. The stage varies in time according to the state of consciousness. Then the next phase starts. That is, downward half of the cycle. It starts to lose its energy. It is negative part of the experience of the dynamics of the attachment. The number of things that can happen, but the essence is same. These all geared to take you in the landscape of non-attachment. You'll be attracted to someone or something else. You will, in a way, grow out of it, or it will no longer make you feel alive or vibrant. Or the other person will betray you or not fulfill your expectations. That is the part when we feel really hurt. It is this part of the cycle that makes us question and explore the whole issue. Everything we took for granted and felt so secure suddenly disappears from our life. We feel devastated. We feel life is not worth living anymore. We feel so lost and distraught. We want to escape pain and suffering of losing it. It all becomes so unbearable. This is the most important part of the process that helps us to cross the threshold of attachment and enter into the landscape of non-attachment. This makes us explore our inner world. It makes us ask the question, what is the meaning of our lives? What is this world all about? And what are we doing here? Why is it happening to me? We come to the realization that the fulfillment that we seek through these outer experiences are in fact the signal that we are learning something far greater than we realize. The fulfillment we are looking, in fact, is the divine unconditional love. It is the process of remembering that we are part of the source, the unconditional love itself. But due to wheel of forgetfulness, we are looking to satisfy the desire of being loved and to love others in the outside world. If we can connect to our pain and suffering in this moment, we'll able to pierce the wheel of forgetfulness and discover the love spring within our own center. Do not judge your love self so harshly that you have experienced attachment in your life. Remember that it is a natural process. It is a part of the divine as we ourselves are.
Page 168.
It is the plan of the great saints to awaken our memory of true belonging. It brings a realization of a greater self and real identity. If experienced with open heart, the attachment can bring us enlightenment. It can connect us to our inner peace and tranquil center. We can learn to discover harmony in our lives. When we attain the state of consciousness of non-attachment, it does not mean that we are barred from the experiences of love in our lives. It only means that not to be dependent on the outside life for our inner happiness and joy. We will not connect to others for filling our empty cup of love. Instead, we'll be filling the emptiness of others. You will fill the emptiness of others' heart with the love that you have in your heart. You are the ocean of love and self. You are sharing with love, all without wanting to desperately trying to fill your cup from the empty hearts of others, who themselves are dying due to lack of love in their own hearts. Anything is only as important as you think it is. More interest you take in anything, more it becomes adherent to you. It becomes part of energy due to your interest in it. Keep your focus on your eternal self, and things of the global world would not be able to adhere on your energy fields. Our interest and focus acts as a glue that attaches us to the particular person and situation. When you learn to live your life as your higher self, you will be able to live with your inner freedom. And your soul freedom, you know the way to share the unconditional love without being attached to anyone or anything. Page number 169, Lesson 22, Importance of Attitude of Unconditional Joy in Honoring Your Higher Self. Our primary original consciousness is the happiness and joy of just being. Unconditioned happiness and joy of just being alive on this planet, experiencing and expressing life is our soul nature. There is an original state of consciousness inherent in everything that exists. Consciousness exists independent of the matter. Every cell, every particle contains in its center the original expression of the universal source. If you allow yourself to experience the original consciousness, you will experience true happiness and joy of just being. It is necessary to let go of your attachment to your personality, emotions, and feelings if you want to experience this true state of unconditional joy. Feel the joy and happiness of experiencing life through human consciousness. Feel the sheer joy of being alive that goes beyond the role of doer. You do not need to do anything to earn it. You can feel it just by because you are what you are. It is not related and it is beyond by your day-to-day experiences. It is free from all the roles that you are playing. It's not influenced by changing cycles of life experiences. Even when you are going through many traumatic experiences in your life, this unconditional happiness and joy can be experienced independent of all the life experiences. Your authentic self is always operating and experiencing this true unconditional joy. Your true self is always at peace with all that is. It's flowing in harmony with the higher spectrums of the source self. Learn to live your life by the perspective of your authentic self. As you wake up every morning, connect your inner joy and happiness. Learn to appreciate and feel the simple unconditional joy of being alive to experience the day.
Page 170.
Experience each day as a special day of your life. Just being here to adventure on this beautiful planet to create the life that you want to experience is a joy in itself. You're given the power to create any reality of your life that you desire. If you do not like what you have created, enter into a different state of consciousness and change your reality. Take off the pressure of performing in a particular way. Do not identify with the outcomes of day-to-day experiences. You do not have to do anything special or be anyone special to experience our inherent joy. We are learning to live our lives with this true joy and happiness. To do that, our soul self has created many personalities. Some of us have chosen peaceful and restful ways to break the shackles of the illusion, while some of us use the great shock waves to break the old structure. It is due to this fact that some of us like the thrill of the adrenaline surge. They rely on the highs of the dramas of life experiences. They are learning to let go of the fear. The great energy surge that is generated by the exciting dramas of life helps them to let go of the fear. It teaches them to take risks and enjoy the dangerous, uncharted territories. Some become addicted to the highs and the euphoria that adrenaline surge produces. Everyone has a different reason for what they do and how they experience life. It is because we are souls. And as souls, you are free to choose your own pathways to experience life and decide how you want to learn the necessary lessons of life. Some mirror the adventurous spirit through their hobbies and dangerous sports. Some create tremendous highs and lows in day-to-day life. Everything, however trivial, has a potential to take you forward. It generates the appropriate amount of energy and momentum to transport you to the next higher state of consciousness. It needs our awareness and openness to embrace the energy that is inherent in it.
Page 171.
Most of us wait for big happenings of life that will make us happy while little joyous things pass by. Learn to enjoy these little things in day-to-day life. If you want to experience a happy state of being, rather than waiting for something big to happen in your life. Our ego wants us to do things which makes us believe that I'll be happy when I'm settled, when I have so much money, or when I've achieved certain goal of position, success, or certain relationship, then I'll be happy. Remember, this happiness which depends on outside factors will never come. Even when it comes, it will be short-lived because your ego will develop a different desire and make you feel that fulfillment of that new desire would make you feel much more happier. Because it always wants you to have more and always makes you to run after a mirage of happiness that never materializes. Ask yourself, are you happy the way you run your life? If not, what is that you can do that will make you happy? What is stopping you to do that? What is that which is not working in your life? What you think is the issue that makes you feel unhappy? Learn to explore these feelings. If you're happy with your life, ask yourself, is it a way that you can become much more happier? You can enhance and enrich your life by asking yourself, is there another way of achieving what you have now could be more fulfilling and productive? Is there a way by adopting that you can bring much more joy into the life of your loved ones and your workmates? Is it possible to change the way you are approaching life so that you bring more love and light in your life? Is there something you can add to your vision that will help you to see the higher truth in your life? How can you connect to your deeper and inner truth by doing it in some other way? How can you transform your way of approaching life experiences so that you can live as your true self? How can you modify your lifestyle that it would not be dancing to the tunes of ego's desires? How can you find much more enduring inner joy rather than just a temporary pleasure?
Page 172.
It is no good to deny what has happened in your life. It is very important to own whatever has happened in your life. It means not to become a victim but dealing with the issues with your true integrity. To look at it as a stepping stone and move ahead. We all carry a big negative baggage from the past. It is better to weed out the negative by accepting it and dealing with it. Do not become unhappy for it. You have to learn to go with the past traumas with an attitude of self-worth and determination. You have to develop a strategy of letting go of negative hurtful feelings attached to any past event. You have to learn to develop an attitude of optimism in spite of all the traumatic and hurtful events of your past. A real you is a treasury of your unconditional happiness. It is always happy, and that is your true potential. It is learning the art of being content and happy no matter how the drama of your life unfolding. Do not let the repercussions of any negative past event to poison your today. If you always hold on to past and do not deal with the unhealed part of your suppressed traumas, it would never heal even given 1,000,000 years. You will recreate the drama of pain and hurt again and again until you make everything a finished business. An unfinished issue dealt with love, acceptance, and kindness is the master key to achieve the state of unconditional happiness and joy. That is being kind to yourself. See what is hurting you and why. What values and beliefs are making you suffer. Why are you denying yourself the happiness you deserve? You have the blessing of the universe to be happy. It happens by not holding on the pain and by letting go of the importance you attach to the bygones of pain and suffering. It can be done by letting go of the past patterns that are causing pain. You cannot live a fragments and segmented life by denying parts of you that you do not like and still be happy.
Page 173.
State of unconditional happiness is birthed by integrating all aspects of your being. It can only be done by becoming aware of them and dealing with them from the point of view of your real self. To be happy means to live in integrity and dignity of who you truly are. By suppressing parts of you or not dealing with your trauma, you will create disharmony with your higher self and it will lead to an unhealed life. You become dysfunctional on many levels. By doing so, you rob yourself from finding real purpose of your life. You lose dignity and alienate yourself from true relationships. Integrate all parts of your life and becoming one with the higher self and realize your self-worth and dignity. Your true self would connect you with the powerful and magnificent you. You would realize your true potential and discover the amazing you that waits for your call of love. By doing so, you would be able to take positive and empowering steps towards happy and successful life. When you are true to yourself, you would also touch hearts of others. You would give courage to the other people and also inspire them to face the reality and live the life with dignity and courage. Destination called success depends on what you do in each present moment. Pain is symbolic that you are locked in the arena of your beliefs and values. And there's another important fact that only you have the keys to unlock the vision. It is imperative to understand that there is so much that you have lost by following the beliefs and values that do not serve a positive role in your life. Come out of that prison, but be sure and brave to close the door where you have lived so far. Put a no entry sign on the roadways that you have walked in past only to suffer so much pain. And remember that no entry sign on the pathways of negative force means no turning back into same territory only to recreate that life again. It does not matter how old and painful the wound is. Every moment is welcoming you to heal yourself, and you have the potential for healing as you take the new breath. Remember that lives can be changed in a split second.
Page 174.
We judge life by success and failure based on our social values. These are not only two colors of life. We tend to ignore the interim phase of the phenomena that life truly is. The journey of achieving that what we call success. This phase is the trial period. Our attitude is the most important ingredient of this journey. It is how much you put into this part of the journey that decides whether you have truly succeeded or not. The difference between success and failure is how you look at your life in a broader sense that is beyond the landscape of achieving the social importance. It is what you do about various challenges during the journey to achieve your goal that predicts how much happiness and joy you would enjoy. It is not the success or failure that reflects your inner strength, but it is what you make of that journey. It is your attitude that shows how strong and resilient you are. It shows how much you listen to your inner voice. Your approach shows how much you are connected to your higher self. It is not important for your true self whether you got the trophy at the end or not. Rather, it is how much intimacy you developed during the journey. Remember that during the weak moments of your life, you only have one companion, that is your true self. Your higher self is your true strength. It is the strong link that carries you across the threshold of difficulties that you encounter during your life. It is faith and trust in your true belonging that decides what you have truly gained during the challenges of life. Page number 175, Lesson 23. Importance of attitude of peace and contentment in honoring higher self. Peace and contentment is inherent in our own inner being. It is our original truth, and we do not need anything from outside world to feel content or to be at peace. But you might say, why we all feel so restless? Why we are so discontent? The answer is that it is due to our ego-directed life. Our many personality cells are ruling our lives, and we are dancing to the tunes of these personalities. Our personalities, being under the directive of our ego, are focused on external gains. Our ego weighs up things according to material gains, made money, success, fame, or approval of others. But remember, we are not any of these personalities. We are souls. And in our soul self, we are far beyond anything that we can gain through personality directive. Our higher self works from the essence point of view, not the visible materialistic gains. Our soul self uses all the experiences for realization of our higher purpose. Our higher purpose can be realized through any of the experiences. That is when we anchor ourselves in the landscape of our soul self. All events of our lives can be lived on many levels of consciousness, and it is up to us to decide where we focus our attention. The platform you stand on for viewing the life experiences comes from the choices that you make. It is a very important factor in deciding whether we would stay in our soul center or we would flow in the tide created by many of our personalities. By joining the tidal waves of personalities, we would be swept away from the shores of our original landscape, only to stand in the dark and clouded horizons of illusion.
Page 176.
The strategy brings pain and suffering because it only brings short-term gains. But the adverse effect is that it creates dependence on outside factors. And not only that, when we don't succeed in getting what we want from it, we become delusioned and lose any sense of peace we have. On the other hand, our higher self guides us to seek inner peace and contentment. Our higher self is concerned about how things can serve our higher purpose. True peace is an indicator of our intimacy with higher self. More we are linked with our soul light and love, more we would feel at peace with ourselves and our external world. One way of honoring our higher self is to live in a state of peace and contentment without relying on other external gains. It is a learning process and would happen gradually. But first step is to have an intention to connect with our true state of being. Intent signals our willingness to the universe that we are ready to follow the path of awakening. Heartfelt intent unleashes tremendous amount of energy that creates a suitable magnetic field around us. By this process, we attract appropriate circumstances for realizing our desire of living as our higher selves. This energy frequency carries our signature travels into the heart of the creative center and universe. In return, we use a support system that ensures that we are helped to anchor ourselves in our original source center. This happens due to the unconditional love and grace of the universe. Due to this process, our higher self in partnership with the universe bring us the circumstance that would connect us with our inner peace. When we become linked with our inner peace, we begin to accept life as it is. With soul, light and love in our hearts, we begin to appreciate all our life circumstances with a sense of gratitude and inner knowing that whatever happens in our lives can serve us higher purpose. Everything that becomes a part of life has brought a special gifts for us, and it is for our highest good.
Page 177.
This wisdom, along with an open heart, raises our vibrations. With higher vibrations of light is our aura, we begin to enter into higher dimensions of pure frequencies. And law of nature is that we experience life from the frequencies of our dimension of existence. In this higher dimension, we become connected with our inner peace and tranquility. It also happens due to expansion of our consciousness. More we are intimate with our inner peace and tranquility, more we learn to live in that state of being. We begin to learn to experience peace and tranquility irrespective of our external circumstances. Expansion of state of consciousness contributes to our higher purpose by helping us to let go of our negative emotions. All negative emotions vibrate on lower frequencies, and when our aura is infused with higher frequencies as a result of expanded state of consciousness, these dense particles of negative energy begin to lose their hold in our emotional body. There are many layers of lower vibration particles in our emotional body. As a result of our awakening, these begin to vibrate on higher frequencies. As a result, our emotional body begins to vibrate on higher frequencies. It translates into entrance of more soul light and love into various layers of emotional energy field. It results in transformation of our emotional energy field, and this brings our emotional body in alignment with our soul self. All these factors make it easy for us to let go of our negative emotions such as anger, envy, jealousy, hatred, and so on. This creates a transformation in our lives. Because negative frequency vibrations are being dissipated or transformed, the process of letting go becomes easy. It is due to the loss of adhesive properties of low frequency particles. It is also due to the fact that lower frequency coarse particles cannot stay in the landscape of higher vibrations arena. As the process of letting go progresses, we become more centered in our true inner peace and tranquility. It makes our vision clear. We begin to learn what is serving our higher purpose and what is satisfying our ego.
Page 178.
In the higher states of our consciousness, we begin to understand our own energy, and we also become aware of the energy of others. That gives us wisdom to separate our energies from the energies of others. In simple words, we stop being drawn into the drama of the external world. It makes us feel more at peace with ourselves and outside world. This gives us confidence in our own inner strength and resolve. As we do that, we begin to live our lives with much more relaxed attitude. It helps us to get over old anxieties as well as teaches us how not to create any more new anxieties. When we live our lives ruled by our anxieties, we create life events that brings us more negative experiences. It is due to law of focus and level of our state of consciousness that we color all our experiences with whatever we are worried about. On the same token, when we let go of fear and anxiety, we relate to our external world with our higher dimensions that have more light and love. It is very important to remember that as we infuse more love and light in whatever we do, we become connected with the higher dimensions of the particular experience. When we honor our higher self, it strengthens our connection with our original self. We begin to express our original truth in whatever we do. It is the higher purpose of our life that brings all our expressions in alignment with our soul light and love. All this translates into the fact that we are slowly learning to dance in tune with our own original expression, rather responding to the world with our mistaken identity. It creates a bridge of light and love between our personality selves and our higher selves. When we learn to express and experience life with our soul light and love, we cross the threshold of the dependence on the gains of external world. We express and experience life with our inner peace and calm. Living life with our own inner peace and calm is a state of being that expresses who we truly are, and it means we have become free from many of the masks that we use to relate to outside world. It is a very powerful state of being. In this state of being, you are not afraid of anyone or anything in the outside world.
Page 179.
It is because the life you live is the expression of soul innocence and originality. Anxiety state happens due to the fact that you cannot separate your energies from the negative energy of others. Fear is a way of our ego, and as such, it is our personalities that make us fearful to the external world. It is because we depend on outside world for the favors that we need in our lives to make us feel good and powerful. When you are living your life with inner calm and peace, which is your true expression, you move away from wanting or needing anything from others. When we don't depend for feeling of happiness or self-worth on others, then what others say or do becomes irrelevant. When you are expressing your inner freedom and soul light and love in all what you do, you are beyond the grasp of the negative emotional energy, of the collective emotional energy field as well. In this state of being, you are not pulled or affected by the negative vibrations in the surrounding. In fact, you become connected with all the beings of light and love who are learning and experiencing their energy with their soul light and love. You are empowered by the higher frequency energies from the other dimensions of the universe, and this enhances and empowers your life even more. Due to this fact, you begin to enter into many higher dimensions of your higher being. You are also able to enter into the higher dimensions of the universe, which operate on the higher frequencies of love and light. Your inner being begins to experience much more time, joy and bliss of being, and it is not dependent on any outside factors. You begin to live and express your life with a state of being that is pure joy. You dwell in a state of being that is the center of peace and tranquility. You begin to infuse your surrounding with love, light and peace. In fact, you begin to become a part of the great scheme of things due to living your life with higher frequencies. Life experiences become awesome and majestic. You begin to unfold in tune with the cosmic song.
Page 180.
Our higher purpose is really to fully participate in the great scheme of things. It means we begin to serve the universe in its great plan for the higher awakening for the humanity. We begin to create an environment in the universe where all beings can be helped to become wholesome and complete. Everyone have solid ground to be able to realize their higher purpose. And solid ground is created by everyone who is bringing more soul, light and love into the world of our own experiences. This ground is weaved by the frequencies of soul, light and love that we are all connected with and are bringing it into the world of dense and lower frequencies. Our higher self is our eternity. It is our divinity. It is the way the source resided within us. By infusing the fabric of our world with these source frequencies, we are becoming part of the great plan in a very conscious way. We can all support this plan and bring heaven on earth. So everyone can live the frequencies of source self, that is with one's inner love and light. This would help us in creating higher dimensions on our planet Earth. The energies of fourth and fifth dimensional reality are already here. By making a commitment to live with our soul awareness, we can help in creating an environment where the frequencies of these higher dimensions can be sustained. It is, we can all express and experience our divinity with the realms of higher light and love dimensions. That can only come when we radiate our inner peace and calm in all experiences of life and to all that exist. It is a journey that can be done by opening our hearts with unconditional love. The waves of unconditional love that flows from our heart would be the carriers of expressions of our original divine peace and tranquility. Page number 181, part 6. Lesson 24. How to cope with pain and suffering as your higher self. When we experience pain in our lives, it reflects our denial of living our lives with the perspective of our soul self. As long as our energy field are operating in harmony with our true essence, we will experience happiness and joy. When that harmony is disturbed, the flow of energy through all our light bodies and physical body becomes sluggish and obstructed. This block can also be caused due to the non-alignment of various light bodies between each other and physical body as well. Once you learn to sense your energy, you'll be able to notice this disharmony and imbalance. You might have noticed that some mornings you especially feel very sluggish, as if you're very tired and disorientated. And when you lie down for a few minutes, it feels better, or otherwise all day you just feel there's something wrong with you and you cannot be your normal self. This usually happens due to the non-alignment of all our light bodies between themselves and the physical body. That is why you feel disorientated. Same kind of non-alignment happens when the harmony of energy flow is disturbed due to the denying of your true essence. Whenever you do not behave with total honesty in any kind of your dealings, this harmony is disturbed and you feel some kind of pain or suffering. It could become apparent as your physical pain. It may show itself as an emotional discontent. At times you might feel empty, as if something is missing, even when your life seems to be okay. There's a signal our body is sending to warn us about the not so honest ways through which we are experiencing our day-to-day lives.
Page 182.
Sometimes we may feel mental confusion, restlessness, or severe depression. You feel you are even getting confused about little things. Your mind is so restless that you feel overwhelmed with trivial things. These are all signs that energy flow in your body is not following the rhythm of your true self. To live a life of unconditional happiness and joy, it is essential to follow and honor your deeper truth. It means living your life with total integrity and honesty. All negative attitudes and emotion create same consequences. These negative attitudes are jealousy feeling of revenge, hatred, not telling the truth, blame strategy, and so on and so forth. Everything works as cause and effect. Whatever you think, say, or do is a causative factor that the effect is either pain, suffering, or happiness. You can create what you want by creating the proper cause. So if you want to be happy, respect and honor your true essence and let go of the negative attitudes. Law of cause and effect operates throughout our universe. You can create what you want by operating with the frequency of that what you want to experience in your life. If you want to be happy and joyous, start to live your life from the premise that you're happy. Enter into the consciousness of the unconditional happiness. Bring your energy vibration to the level where you feel happy without any external conditions. It can be cultivated by practice. You can live your life with a baseline of true happiness and joy even before you react to any external stimuli. When you act as if you're happy, you become the cause of the state of consciousness of happiness. So the effect will be that your higher self will bring you the life events that will make you happy as well. Not only the universe will also bring you the experiences that will imbue your life with happiness and joy. It is because our universe works by synchronizing the energy. If you're happy at basic levels of your emotion, universe will bring you more or the same. If on the other hand you are unhappy, always mourning or groaning about something or the other, universe will bring you more of the similar conditions by the process of synchronization.
Page 183.
When you operate with the consciousness of happiness, your higher self will create an electromagnetic field of happiness and joy. By doing so, you'll be able to magnetize much more happiness and joy in your life. Law of vibrations is that whatever you put in the universe comes back to you. So if you put happy vibration in universal cosmic energy pool, happiness and joyous events will be reflected back into your life. understanding the dynamics of obstructions. Whatever happens in our lives, whether positive or negative, the cause lies within our own inner spectrum. The cause of any obstruction and obstacle you are experiencing in your outside life is within your own energy field. Outside life is only reflecting the inner conflict and confusion in your life experiences. Inner disharmony is the flow of energy is being reflected in your outside life situations. Any obstacle of your life is the reflection of the level of consciousness you are living your life with. Every path you follow has its natural bends and blind spots. So if you are following a certain spectrum of consciousness, it will bring its challenges. These challenges can come as blocks in your life. It is the effect of the cause, which is the result of the choices and decisions you have made along the way. The cause is the way you have responded to the events of your life with that specified state of consciousness. These choices and decisions may be outside your conscious awareness, but nevertheless, these are your own pathways. Remember, every experience of life can help us to grow in light and love. It has the potential of transporting us into the landscape of higher states of consciousness. It is up to us that we take full advantage of all the life satisfactions to grow in light and love. Many times the life situation presents a difficult situation or the dilemma, but remember, the inherent energy of the difficult situation is to bring out the best in us.
Page 184.
This energy is generated to augment our higher growth. Sometimes the growth is promoted by gradual awakening, but sometimes it could be rude awakening. With gradual awakening, we come to realize and recognize slowly why our soul self has brought particular incident in our life. On the other hand, rude awakening comes as a big bang and shakes all that what you have believed in. Sometimes sudden awakening can arrive as an instant realization without any great challenges in our lives. That is the mystery of life we can never fully understand with our rational mind. There are times when you'll be able to understand why we are experiencing a particular event in our life with meditation and contemplation, but at times it becomes impossible to understand why the soul has created some specific event in our life. But do not worry, just honor the incident with true presence. That is the most important thing to do. We have all experienced these kind of episodes and pathways of self-discovery and self-realization. I've been through the same grist of mill on many occasions. One of the incidents goes few years back, when somehow I had this idea that while I'm following spiritual path, living my life with gradual awakening, I should be able to comprehend why particular situation is taking place in my life and what do I need to learn from it. I was trying to grasp the mysteries of life with my intellect. During meditation and contemplation on the situation, this particular day, my guardian angel transported me into the temples of wisdom in one of the dimensions of light. He explained to me the meaning of all the life experiences has many depths and spectrums like divine light. Some of the superficial spectrums can be understood by the mind, but many of the dimensions and meanings are out of the domain of mind. Our human mind has many limitations according to our beliefs and values, and it judges everything according to these values and beliefs. But no way it has sufficient grounds and energy to comprehend the majesty of life.
Page 185.
My guardian angel explained that it is important to have trust in your higher self and the universe under those circumstances, rather than struggling to find out the mental meaning of every experience of life. He said, we are always aware of the learning from any experience at our soul level, and we as soul always know why we are going through certain life trauma or difficulty. Not all the experiences are about learning something in the world we live in. Some of the experiences are to align us to the higher dimensions of the universe. These are beyond any understanding of our human mind. These can only be understood as souls. It is most important fact to remember that we cannot truly understand the real depth and meaning of all our life experiences. If you have to learn something on higher and deeper spectrums, you will do that even if it is outside your awareness. None of the teaching is ever lost. All that you have learned over many lifetimes and in past, in this present life will be available to you whenever you need it. As we enter into the domain of states of higher level of consciousness, many more dimensions of life experiences become available to us. One other important factor is the balancing of the energy in our energy system is very essential part of our higher growth, and many experiences of life are to just do that. At times, there are no specific learning of the world of illusion other than infusing our aura with the higher frequency energy particles of love. A level of consciousness that takes us beyond all the learning game is a state of being and goes much more deeper than what we can figure out with our physical sense. Another purpose of our experiences is to align our various bodies to the higher dimensions of light so we can make a shift from the third density dimensions to the higher ones like fourth or fifth or might be even higher than that.
Page 186.
Another important factor comes into play is that there are many levels in all these dimensions of light and love as we move a step higher. Our bodies have to be evolved to that level as well. And it is an ongoing process. So many times you'll not be able to comprehend what is going on. Just have trust and faith in your higher self and the universe. Learn to live your life from the state of consciousness of just being. When you learn to do that, the next level comes into play, which is state of non-being. It means being your original self, and is a state of being that is one with your true belonging. More higher state of consciousness we experience, more we'll become aware of the fact that how little we can really understand the mysteries of life. No, that is not necessary to understand every experience of life. Just trust that if it is essential for you to know and understand, you'll be able to do so because your higher self will make sure of that. We are only given the knowledge that we can understand, and we are never given any knowledge that overwhelms us. It is because it could have devastating effects on our psyche. Moreover, it is not important to know or understand the mysteries of life. What is really important is that how we live our life. That is what decides the outcome of any event. Not only that, how you live your life decides the outcome of any incarnation as well. It also decides whether you will reincarnate or not. And if you do reincarnate, and when and where it would be, and what will the theme of the experience. All painful situations of life are symbolic that you are not in tune with your soul self. It is one of your fragmented parts that is out of balance. You are deeply wounded when you do something that is not in alignment with your higher self. It is symbolic that some part of your personality self which is in trap of negative emotions, or it could be reacting with an old, worn-out mindset that is creating pain and suffering in your life.
Page 187.
There's something that is not honoring your true essence. It could be an old belief or value, or it could be an identification that is reflecting a particular situation that is trying to give you an opportunity to resolve an unfinished issue. Pain and suffering in any area of life is a reminder to let go of the identification that is blocking the energy flow in your body. That part of you is wrapped up with the dense negative energy particles, so the movement has become restricted. This part of you has lost its flexibility. It has lost the vitality of the movement. It needs a breathing space. It's your responsibility to bring that part into your soul, light, and love. The identification whether positive or negative creates boundaries around the field of our experiences. Life is an open-ended process, and so are the experiences of life. When you learn to experience any state of consciousness that has appeared in your life as an open-ended process, energy will keep flowing freely, and you'll be able to move swiftly into the next dimensions of possibilities without any obstruction. Do not divide the experiences of life into many tiny compartments. Do not label and imprison experiences of your life into the categories of good or bad. As soon as you label something, it loses its inherent energy. It is cut off from the energy of grace due to boundaries that labeling creates. Experience your life events with awareness and open-heartedly. It is essential to follow the pathway of light and love. Any rigid way of experiencing life is restricted. When you follow your inner voice and make higher choices, energy remains fluid and flows free. And soon, new opportunities will become available to you so that you can experience life with expanded state of consciousness. Experience the energy of new states of consciousness, but do not become prisoner to it. Be prepared to learn the lessons. Be open to envision higher depths of your multi-dimensional reality. Do not follow the rigid rules of outside world to judge your action. Discover higher inner measures and compass to find out where you are in life and keep moving ahead, discovering new and higher landscape of your inner beauty and vastness. Learn to go with flow of each moment. All you have to do is enter into the original energy of the moment.
Page 188.
Learn to go with the flow of each moment. All you have to do is to enter into the original energy of the moment. Learn to enter into the consciousness or the energy of what you want to create instead of focusing your attention on the consciousness of what you do not want in your life. The law of nature is that whatever state of consciousness you put your attention on, that becomes the reality of your life. So if you keep thinking what you do not like or want to avoid, your thoughts of not wanting or liking something send the thought forms of that very thing in the cosmic pool of energy. The energy of your thought forms carries the information of what you are focusing on and also the magnetic field to draw it in your life. So the universe sends you the form that you are trying to avoid. It happens because you have entered into that state of consciousness that resonates with your own energy field. It lights up the spark into the form of consciousness so it becomes alive into your life experiences. All whatever we want in life has the original consciousness of love, but it is misrepresented and misplaced due to our values and beliefs. When we are in pain, deep down it is something that we love but cannot have it, or have lost it, or afraid of losing. When we are hurt, it's also about love. Someone has betrayed us, or someone does not return our love. It is always some lack of love that we are experiencing or suffering. Deep down beneath the surface, feeling of hurt, anger, or any kind of pain or suffering, there's a longing of some expression of love. A part of you feels rejected. Your inner child wants to be loved, to be approved, want to be accepted, wants someone to love it. It is sitting alone in a dark room of your psyche. It wants to enter into the landscape of love and light of your soul self. Its rhythms are discordant and it also wants to resonate with your soul song. It wants a place in your heart. That is why it keeps trying to draw your attention in many shapes or forms.
Page 189.
If you are suffering rejection in your external life, it could be that you're rejecting your inner child. It could be that you're not kind to yourself. You're not listening to your own needs. You're rejecting that part of you that needs tender care and love. It is yearning for the warmth of your embrace. If you feel hurt by someone's behavior, ask yourself, why this person's behavior is touching a painful spot in my psyche? It could be that a part of you which has become so conditioned to be unhappy and miserable as a way of some coping strategy that it cannot understand that where you are in your life and now you do not need that kind of behavior. In this way, all your parts, negative or positive, are trying to serve a useful purpose in your life. Mystics have said, life's like a bubble. You try to hold it and it disappears like it never existed. Like a bubble, it shows many beautiful colors dancing in the backdrop of sunshine, yet it is empty. It is transitory. All life experiences are temporary. But it is very important to realize that our life is very precious. It is the opportunity to realize your true identity. There's nothing mundane about the life that we experience on the planet Earth. It is a very important journey. It is necessary to understand that the emptiness and ever-changing nature of life so we can embrace our true belonging. We need to look at the cause of pain and suffering that is inherent in the third density dimension of the planet Earth. Suffering is an ever-present state of consciousness that we experience in the form of dissatisfaction, boredom, hatred, betrayal, and failure. Loss and discontent can be caused by others by not fulfilling our expectations. People feel hurt when we do not fulfill their expectations. All arenas of life, home, job, community, society, and country present many challenges that become the cause of pain and suffering. It is the cosmic dance of the creation. Different phases of life are compared with the different postures of the dance. Life is a reflection of cosmic dance and is following the ongoing, seamless rhythms of the cosmic dance.
Page 190.
Learn to experience everything as it appears in each moment. We have to learn not to be attached with any particular rhythm of the dance if we want to experience life in its majesty. When we do that, pain and suffering loses its hold on us. It is not our pain and suffering anymore. There's no tension between our energy and the primal pain. You're free and energy flows freely. And the energy of pain becomes free as well to find its own resolution, the vastness of the universe. It does not mean that we become insensitive to pain and suffering. We do not become cold-hearted and distant to the pain and suffering of others. In fact, we become more compassionate and loving. You're not learning to deny the existence of pain and suffering, but you are learning to enter into the depth of so-called my pain and me from the stand of your higher self. You're learning to discover the true nature of the pain and suffering. You learn to give space to your pain to move around in the vastness of your soul self. You're not holding to the pain to make it personal. You're leading to explore and experience the original nature of the cosmic and personal pain. You are learning to separate and distinguish the personal pain from the inherent cosmic pain. You're doing it without labeling. It is my pain or your pain. It is just pain, it's just it is. We learn to feel the various sensations beneath our pain and suffering. We move into the inner spectrums of pain. Into this landscape, we can see what is our identification and where is our attachment. To understand the nature of our attachment to pain, ask yourself, what is the game that keeps you tied to that particular pain? What is the trade-off? And why are you holding on to the original energy of pain? Heightened awareness of pain. And awareness comes through the acceptance that pain and pleasure in all shapes and forms are the part of process which is called life. These are not separate but part of the same contentment of the moment-to-moment unfolding experience of life.
Page 191.
It is all part of being on this planet and experiencing the human way of life. All the emotions, whether negative or positive, are part of the great scheme of things. Living your life with the awareness takes a denial out of the equation of life process. It opens you to the experience and the vastness of life in its totality, rather than suppressing and denying the parts of you which you do not like. The consciousness of acceptance and living fully in each moment of life brings the happiness and joy of spring into the horizon of denial and running away from the life. When heart is filled with primal happiness and joy of just being, you become free from the negative effects of experience of life. Your heart is always at peace. Whatever happens in your outside life, it cannot move you from your center for long. When you take the and hurt and vastness of your soul light and love, and recognize its impersonal nature, you can become intimate with your soul self and know that you are experiencing the pain, but you are not pain yourself. Pain or pleasure comes through outside experiences and it is not your primal identity. It is not who you are. It is a state of consciousness that you are passing through to explore your deeper truth. The mysteries of so-called your pain and pleasure become so transparent that these start to lose their hold on you. You will experience all events of your life with your sacred presence. You will be able to maintain your connection with the inner wellspring of love. It means you are learning to live your life with your soul senses. When you learn to live your life as your higher self, your pain, fear, and any other negative emotion becomes much more approachable. Suddenly, where you feel distraught and lost, you find a new option and establish a new connection with your soul light and love, and pain and suffering becomes workable. That way of dealing with life events transports you into higher and expanded states of consciousness. Meditation is the way that opens many doors to become much more awake and aware in your life. It teaches you to be fully present with your grief and loss.
Page 192.
The sense of helplessness and desperation start to leave the landscape of your experiences. By embracing your emotions in your heart, you learn to give these space so you can live your life fully rather than have to live life that creates so many unhealed parts in your psyche. By giving space and taking each and every emotion in to the open heart, you'll be able to learn where is the root cause, where does it come from, and how does it change you to that very emotion. By doing so, you can enter into your deeper spectrums and learn who you truly are. Entering deep into pain is understanding the dynamics of pain so you can cross the threshold of superficial mask of pain and use the energy trapped into the so-called my pain to transport you to your own wellspring of inner joy. Even though mystics have called pain an illusion, it is very real when you're going through it. It creates many wounds in your psyche. Your whole personality is affected by it. It makes its mark on many levels of your being. It leaves many unhealed scars that can give you pain all your lives. Pain may be lifetime old, but when you suffer any kind of traumatic situation, all the hidden and buried pain shows an impact in here and now. In fact, when we grieve any loss or suffering for any reason, it links us to all the painful situations that we have ever had in our lives, although we are not consciously aware of this fact. Something might have happened years ago, but when it comes to surface it affects you as if it's happening in now. But because due to our values and beliefs, we have learned to try to escape or suppress pain, and we never truly face our pain. By denying it, we in fact increases the intensity and severity of our suffering. It gives us more energy to the painful emotions, and the wounds start to weep and keep burning us deeper and deeper on many spectrums of our being. It can make us suffer all our lives.
Page 193.
Energy follows the roadways of least resistance, and so whenever a favorable condition is present and we are on a low ebb or experiencing difficulty in our lives, these wounds try to push their way to the surface to make us aware of their presence. It is so that we can go deeper into our pain and free ourselves from the suffering. In fact, these are the opportunities given to us to make a room in our hearts for our pain and suffering. With gentle entrance and loving kindness to that part of ourselves that is suffering, we can bring it to our awareness and give it love and light of our soul self so it can be healed. It is the opportunity to free yourself from the pain and suffering on many levels, if not all. We can reach those parts that we denied with our acceptance and love and heal on many levels. Most of the times when we begin to think of that person or situation, we do it with even much more intensity. Our mind begins to add some new element of pain and suffering to the original memory of it and begins to blame that person or situation with much more emotional feelings of bitterness and or resentment. It takes real courage and commitment to heal your pain and suffering. For that, we need to learn to connect to our higher self through meditation and sitting in silence. As long as our little self is operating in the landscape of illusion by using the physical senses, we'll be trapped in the whirlwind of many negative emotions. Ego operates from the level of consciousness of our physical sense, but higher self operates from the higher consciousness of love, light, and awareness. Our greatest self operates from the point of view of the bigger picture of our lives and the universe, while our little self only looks at the immediate effect on the survival. There's a huge gap into the consciousness of higher self and the little self. This landscape is full of the woodland of the values and beliefs. When you cross this transitory zone to reach out to your higher self, you can achieve the union of your higher self and ego self. In this union, you'll become wholesome. This is the realization of you entirely. Life is not about discarding your little self and claiming you are a spiritual being, but it is about becoming wholesome and realizing your totality. You are a unit of total awareness. You have to learn to claim all your fragmented parts and bring these into your soul vastness. This union heals duality and separation of lower worlds and higher worlds.
Page 194.
It heals the separateness from the source. It heals the phenomena of you and me. We learn to dwell in the landscape of union with the universal life force. It is our true belonging. This transitory zone or the separation of landscape between higher self and lower self can only be crossed with an attitude of unconditional love. It is about loving your life with vastness of your soul self. You are in this world to follow the grand plan of the universe in your true belonging. The pathway has to be created by your own efforts, and the light has to radiate from your inner well-being of your true you. It comes by being open to your inner wellspring and keeping your eyes on the lighthouse of your soul self. You have to construct a bridge of light and love from your personality self to your higher self. This construction of bridge of light and love cannot be done by satisfying the desires of ego. It's not about gratifying your many personalities with varying material gains. These many selves are already confused. One part of you wants something, and other part comes up and try to sabotage it because it was something else. There's always confusion between our many selves that reign in our lives. This woodland requires healing and union to create harmony and balance between our many selves. The healing and synchronization comes from our own inner soul light and love. True healing comes by developing an intimate relationship with your true self. It is deepest healing that will initiate you into higher spectrums of your true being. It heals our separateness. It heals our pseudo-identification with I am this, I am that, I have this. My name, my fame, my position. Various masks we wear to hide our fear and negative emotions will melt away and we'll achieve a true healing. That is what will bridge the gap between our true being and many roles that we play with different labels of me and mine. When you enter into the shelter of your soul vastness, you'll experience your eternity and true belonging. In your soul vastness, you'll learn and experience all event of your life with the greatness of your soul self.
Page 195.
It will transport you into an expanded state of consciousness where you will be able to experience whatever life brings, whether pleasant or unpleasant, with your deeper spectrum, without any mask and identifications. That is why you enter into the non-polar state of consciousness. It is a landscape where you are not euphoric when experiences are pleasant and you're not shattered and lose your balance when life is not pleasant. It is a neutral zone of true you, where you observe with visionary eyes of soul and you participate fully in each moment, but you just see each event just appearing and disappearing into the great ocean of universal source. We go through many traumatic and painful events throughout our lives. It depends on our attitude as to how we respond to these unfavorable situations. We can get depressed and blame outside factors and live rest of the life thinking that this is end of the us. On the other hand, we can treat these as stepping stones. Use these to cross the threshold of pain and suffering and enter into the higher state of consciousness. But we need to let go of our attachment to any state of consciousness that is in any particular way of experiencing life. That is the only way to heal. We all are unique being of cosmos and have reached wherever we are in our lives through our very specific routine. So we need to find and discover our own special way of letting go as well. That is where we can truly heal. By doing so, we can also learn to respect the choices of others, which others have made to experience their lives and heal themselves. Everyone experiences life from a different perspective. We all have our own specific way of connecting and so entering into the next higher states of consciousness. Sometimes we do meet people who are on the same road of experiencing life as we are because of energy vibration and operating within the same frequency range, and so we develop an affinity for each other as we learn our lessons. And when our consciousness changes, we drift away in our own specific directions.
Page 196.
Higher perspective on loss. Remember, whenever you lose something in your life, it is always replaced with something better and much more appropriate for the expansion of your growth. Nothing ever leaves your life unless it is necessary to do, as it has served its purpose. Know and trust that whenever you let go of attachment to something that you have lost, it will be replaced with something even better. But until you are attached to it, even though it's not a part of you or your life anymore, nothing new and different can move you in your life. It is because your energy field is overloaded with the dense energy of your attachment to that particular person or thing. Even though it is physically absent from your life, living like a parasite in an energy field, it is dead material that takes a lot of room and energy. It stops the flow of energy, so your energy system becomes clogged and sluggish. The dead material of holding on to something that is not alive in your life occupies all your attention. The toxins created by clinging to the particles that are not alive starts to destroy the whole energy system. It is not in a receptive mode, it is in the destructive mode. It's like sitting on the ruins of the past that you can never bring back in your life into its original form. When you surrender to the process of cleansing and purifying, it will ease the discomfort and conflict. This is a period of transition. Go through it and trust. Imagine it being replaced with something much more important and precious. Imagine that this is the best thing that has happened to you and will expand the state of your consciousness and enrich and enhance your life. Trust that everything is happening for your highest good. Detach yourself from the negative emotions and just accept what you have learned from the experiences and appreciate how it has changed your life and you or enhanced your life.
Page 197.
Remember that your soul self creates all the experiences of your life. Our soul self is the divine essence within. Take responsibility of your experiences, not by blaming, but understanding and claiming the power to change what you do not like. True self-realization takes you beyond the reality of pain and pleasure. We all have a very colorful past that comes to haunt us. Real power is walking away when people irritate you. Walking away and saying, I'm not going to get involved in the negative drama of life. That is the key to true happiness. You're not alone in this game of interaction. In any experience, there are two parties. Both have given some kind of consent, whether it is verbal or non-verbal, whether it has been done on a conscious level or an unconscious level. Most of the time, two needy people come together and create a drama. They think they love each other, but in fact, they are not acting out of love. They're acting out of the need to fill that emptiness within. That is haunting them. Two desperate people cannot create a relationship that is satisfying to any of the parties. It is because both got into relationship hoping the other party will fill the emptiness. So they both become disappointed when they do not get what they want. It creates more frustration because that part that feels insecure and is looking outside itself to find that safety and security feels defeated and lost. Worrying about any traumatic situation does not change anything. In fact, it makes things worse. Worrying is a very destructive way of dealing with a situation that is already fragile and complicated. The energy created by worrying is very dense and it creates a thick cloud so your vision becomes obstructed. Not only that it closes all the doors through which you can make a way out of a turmoil, it creates disharmony, and disharmony leads to non-alignment of your various energy bodies that leads to confusion and conflict. Conflict creates pain and suffering. When we live our lives under the influence of our various personalities, we ignore our higher truth. This creates conflict in our psyche, and this is translated as pain and suffering in our life.
Page 198.
So it is of immense importance to learn to live your life with loving kindness and compassion to align your external life with the greater truth if you want to live a happy and fulfilled life. When you live your life with your soul, light and love, you bridge the gap that creates disharmony and conflict in your psyche. By doing so, it also helps you to lift the wheel of illusion that is blocking your higher growth. It creates sacred space in your energy field by removing the dense particles of negative attitude and emotions. This space can be filled by your higher self and the universe with higher form of love. This new energy infuses all your energy bodies with higher frequency particles that creates a new magnetic field of energy around you that helps you to attract happy and joyous experiences in your life. To go beyond pain and suffering, ask yourself, the perspective that you have on life, is it allowing you to connect to your higher self? Is it interfering with your soul innocence? Are these beliefs polluting your eternal values? Are these values keeping you under the control of giants of illusion? Is this honoring your higher self? Is this the way you want to spend the rest of your life? If the answer is no, and you want to change, then what are you waiting for? Why not make the changes now? What is stopping you? What is the gain? What is the hidden agenda? What is the true fear? If you're afraid of something, recognize your negative tendencies and move in the direction of your eternal self. Remember, you are on the planet Earth to experience life in a way that you can shed off negative values and learn to live your life as the eternal you, the true essence that is the central theme of the life for all of us. You have to become pure in heart to become intimate with your soul self. If you have any hidden agenda, it creates screens so dense that your judgment becomes clouded and you begin to succumb under the forces of illusion.
Page 199.
This wall creates barrier that hinder development of an intimate relationship with your soul self. The world we live in works under the dark negative forces of illusion. We have many dark angels that easily influence our way of thinking and living. You have to defeat these great giant vices of illusion by developing a strong bond with your higher self. It helps you to stay in control of your life. By linking with your higher self, you can live as purely as you can and radiate your own soul light and love into all you do. By doing so, you can truly participate in the great plan of things in the universe and serve your higher purpose.
End of part 2.